Good morning and welcome to day 2 of competition at the IJF Judo World Masters in Guadalajara, Mexico. And a very good morning to David McFall.
Good morning, Sheldon. Buenos dias, everyone.
We're going to run down the top 4 competitors, the top 4 seeds in each of the weight categories. We've got 4 weight categories to bring to you today, 73 and 81 for the men, and 63 and 70 for the women. Let's start by taking a look at the top 4 seeds in the under 73 kilo category, and then David's going to come in with a couple of picks and some information. So, the number 1 seed in the under 73 kilo category, An Chang-rim of South Korea. The number 2 seed is Rustam Orozhov of Azerbaijan. The number 3 seed is Sagimuki of Israel, and the number 4 seed is Denis Iyatsev of Russia.
You know, I really like this year. Sagimuki has really come along strong, and I think he's going to be a good contender for going on the podium today. The Koreans really, I think going into Rio, the Koreans might have the strongest men's team, and An is one of those building blocks in that team.
Okay, anyone else in there?
Chandragal is always in the running from Mongolia, and Uryatchev of Russia.
Okay. The under 81 kilo category then, the top 4 seeds there. Number 1 seed, Antoine Valois-Fortier of Canada, the Olympic bronze medalist from London 4 years ago now. The number 2 seed, Victor Penalba of Brazil. The number 3 seed, Roman Mostopoulos of Greece. And the number 4 seed, Alan Kubetsov of Russia. Who have you picked out there then?
You know, it's funny, when we go to most competitions, 81 is this huge group, but we've only got 17 judoka here. So it's a really interesting looking group. Pietri is basically coming back, and I think that he may surprise some people. Travis Stevens, always a big contender. Let's hope that he's not all bandaged up like he usually is.
I'm afraid to tell you that he is, because I just spoke to him in the warm-up area, and I said, Travis, you know, look how quickly the time has gone. 4 years. When we were in that tunnel, and I said to you, you were the best player to leave London without a medal. He said, yeah, I remember that.
Well, that was probably the most brutal bronze medal fight I've ever seen.
Right, anyone else? You mentioned Loic Pietri already, as you say, you know, coming back into it. He won the World Championships in 2013, and he was a silver medalist last year. So, you know, he's there.
Yeah, and I also like the Canadian, Valois-Fortier.
Okay. Right, to the 2 women's weight categories then. The under 63 kilo category, first of all. The number 1 seed, Tashiro Miku of Japan. The number 2 seed, Catherine Unterwärtssacker of Austria. The number 3 seed is Sedefsuren Munksar, who I think has had to withdraw. I think we got a message from Ellie about that. And then the number 4 seed is Alice Schlesinger of Great Britain.
Well, we saw 2 good results from the Japanese yesterday. With Nakamura and with Kondo, but the big surprise was Matsumoto going out early. We'll see if Tashiro can live up to it.
Takajo as well.
For the women.
Yeah.
For the women,
sorry,
right?
Takajo
was big surprise. Well, Takajo and Takato both went out. You know, somebody I'm going to look for, Alice Schlesinger.
Okay.
I really like her, and Wen of Italy would be 2 from the EGA that I would look for.
Right, the under 70 kilo category, the number 1 seed, Kim Polling of the Netherlands. The number 2 seed, the current world champion, 3 times world champion, Yuri Alver of Colombia. The number 3 seed, Bernadette Graf of Austria. And the number 4 seed, Maria Bernabeu of Spain, the world silver medalist.
Well, I would say, you know, there's a couple dark horses that I want to look at here. I think Maria Pertella might do something. I think she might get to the podium today. Kalita Zapanchik, perhaps. Sally Conway. But Avier basically performs well in 2 places, the World Championships and in the Pan America.
Okay, we'll see how she gets on. We're going to take a look, first of all, at the action on mat number 1. And the reason for that is we've got Andrea Gutierrez of Mexico. Why not give the home fans something to cheer about? She's up against Mariana Silva of Brazil. It's Gutierrez in the white judogi, Silva in blue. And if you want to take a look at Marie-Yves Gailly of France and Iliana Marzog, it's too late. You've missed it.
Wow.
Because Marie-Yves Gailly has just thrown Iliana Marzog for Ippon.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Mexicans really had something to cheer about yesterday with Edna Corrado, who had an excellent performance. If you look at the scoreboard, she lost by Ippon, but it was only in the last second. And going the last 30 seconds, she was only down by, I believe, a Shido.
Yeah,
So
one of the, I think one of the men as well yesterday had a good performance.
Eardo?
I can't remember the name now. I'll look it up.
I think it was Eardo. I'm sure people at home are furiously typing in, letting us know exactly who it was.
Single Shido picked up by Gutierrez at the moment. Now, you mentioned Alice Schlesinger, and she's about to take to mat number 2. Why don't we wander down there and have a little look at Alice Schlesinger. Schlesinger in the white judogi, Katipoglu in blue. This is a tough first fight, by the way, against Busra Katipoglu. Mr. Matthias is coming over with our little gadget again. Lets us change the mats without him. Single Shido picked up by Alice Schlesinger. Single Shido at the moment. Okay. It's bound to be cagey, isn't it, the pair of them?
Yeah, well, also first match of the day, you know. Yeah. For all the warm-up they did back in the athletes area, it's a totally different story once they get on the mat under the lights.
Really good contest up on mat number 1 shortly. Musa Magushkov of Russia will face Alex Pombo da Silva of Brazil. Hilda Drexler drew Tashiro Miku first fight. Oh well. I said hello to Hilda Drexler this morning. I didn't give her a hug and a kiss because she was absolutely drenched in sweat after a warm-up. I said I'll save that if you don't mind. You know, some other time. This is a nice contest, finally balanced here.
Just a Shido apiece. We get through the halfway point.
Yeah, Sedef Surin should have been down there in top of Pool D, but she's out. Both fighters have picked up a penalty apiece. Katipoglu looking to attack there, first of all with Makikomi, and then that little left Ochigari was a slight afterthought, and there was you could see that she was trying to work it out in her mind, you know, how to move from one.
Yeah, she came over the top with
another.
That deep collar grip, and then she thought, you know, this isn't working. That was a little better effort. I think that's what she wanted to do gripping-wise.
Schlesinger is going to have to be careful here. Katipoglu, if she's really clever and she's keeping an eye on the way things are going. Well, she didn't need the another attack. The second penalty. The referee can stand back and leave it to them now. Looks a little bit drained at the moment, does Schlesinger. Not able to keep her hands on to come up with a strong attack. Slow to get to her feet. And picks up a third. Yeah. Not looking good, I'm afraid, for the British fighter. Again, you know, slow with the movement. He's normally a little bit more dynamic than that, David.
I think she's losing the gripping battle. You know, I just don't think she doesn't feel comfortable in the grip situation, and she's not doing a good enough job of breaking those grips and establishing something that she's comfortable with.
Gutierrez, by the way, picked up 2 penalties and lost her contest against the Brazilian Mariana Silva down on mat number 1, and I can see David making absolutely no attempt to fill in the sheets. He's not in the least bit interested. Someone's got to do it. I'll do it.
I'll get there.
I'll do it. But you won't be able to read my handwriting. That's the only problem. That's what Sandra Zaghetti says anyway. She's happy to fill in the sheets, as is Annette Byrne, because they can read what's written on there. Just looks a little bit tired, does Alice Schlesinger. Maybe the long flight and the elevation, because we're way up there, aren't we? Above sea level. Maybe it's all a little bit too much and probably need a few more days to acclimatize.
Well, you know, that's what it's so cool at night here. It's warm during the days and really it's very comfortable actually at night. Good sleeping weather.
Seconds ticking away here, but you can see the inability of Schlesinger to really get to grips with Katapoglu. That's not a normal Schlesinger performance. So just a little bit under the weather, I think. Alice Schlesinger picked up the 3 penalties, and it's Busra Katapoglu who goes through. Well, that would take her into the quarter-final then.
Things move quickly here.
They do. No hanging about this morning. Quarter-final spot for Katapoglu. All right, what have we got coming up next? We are going to go down to mat number 1 to have a look at the contest between Musa Magushkov of Russia. He faces Alex Pomba da Silva of Brazil. It's Magushkov in the white judogi, Pomba da Silva in blue. Now David beavering away and filling out the contest sheets.
Trying to do it as neat as possible now.
Beautifully capitalized names there. Really nice and easy to read. I like that rather than putting TUR or BRA, because you never get to know the names of the players. And if you write them 3, 4, 5, 6 times, then it begins to sink in. But when we write down Canada or Mexico or something, you know, it never really sticks. In between all of that, Musa Magushkov has thrown Pomba da Silva for Ippon.
We shouldn't use this performance this weekend as the bar, but I think particularly for the men, Brazil's going to have a tough time on that medal table at the Rio Olympics. The women, I think they've got some better opportunities. Magushkov, he's got that beautiful dash, bra. I've seen this a number of times. Actually, it was a Kaishiwaza there. Still well timed. Pomba Silva trying his own Ashiwaza. And getting caught there. Such amazing timing from the Russian. See right there. Nice little transition too. We're going to slide over maybe to mat number 2 for a bit. We're going to jump back as soon as Tashiro Miku comes back. We're going to take a look here at Annika van Enden versus Via Hermansson. It's Van Enden in white, Hermansson in blue. all EGAU matchup here. Brandon in quickly in the lead here with the 2 Shido to Hermanson. And now she picks up on her own, and now Blue is behind by 3 with 1:43 left in the match. Brandon looking for Koshijime there, but I don't think she's got the hand in the right position. Nope, I'm correct. There we go. Looked like her wrist was turned the wrong way for that Shimewaza. But she had gotten that collar right underneath the throat there. Nice job by the representative for the Netherlands.
Annika van Emden through to the next round. Well, very similar backgrounds as far as their climb to their current points. Edwige Gwend of Italy takes to the mat now. She's got a dangerous contest in store here. Katerina Valkova of Russia. It's Gwend in the white judogi, Valkova in blue. Let's see how this one turns out.
Well, Gwen was one of my picks this morning when we started out. Let's see if she can validate my choice.
One of your picks comes up against one of mine.
There you go.
Valkova shows no sign of having reached her peak progress. She's getting better all the time, looking stronger, moving better, looking more dangerous in the weight category. And she's qualified for the games as well. She's still young, and I think that she's got a good future in this weight category. Let's see how she gets on, because she's drawn, well, I was going to say she's drawn one of the better fighters in the weight category, but it's the Masters.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could say that all day.
Yeah.
But look at this, nice, she did a good job of rolling out of there. She was in trouble. We talked about yesterday the fact that the Russian women have developed some nice newaza skills, and you saw it there, because I think most competitors would have been gotten caught there.
But when she decided to roll, she gave absolutely everything.
She timed it also perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
She really did.
She knew she had to get out of that situation, and there was a point in the getting out where you become really, on your back, and she managed to, as David said, time it well. Absolutely perfect, yeah.
Well, I think the thing is that she was anticipating what Gwen was going to do, and then chose her moment and did it absolutely perfectly.
That wasn't the best of efforts, was it?
No, that.
I'd have stayed on my feet if I was a Valkova and looked to draw the Shido for a false attack.
Maybe Valka was.
She's keen to get on the ground.
Get on the ground. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
And there's time.
Plenty of time, and she knows she feels more confident on the ground.
Yeah.
And that's not saying I get Gwen, who's no slouch on the ground. It's just that, like I said, the Russian women really have been working on this ground game.
It's not the best position from Valkova here. And then it wasn't one thing or another. She was in two minds as to what to do there. And the last part of it, which was the Yoko Sutemiwaza, was so far away. There was never really any hope of her catching her with that. She didn't like the grip. She didn't like the feeling of the grip and wanted to break it up.
Didn't really sound like Sutemiwaza for me. Just didn't have any Kazushi going into it,
Yeah, she's got to be a little bit more convincing. I mean, quite clearly she wants to engage Gwen, in newaza, but you've got to be a little bit more clever about how you get them in there.
A feint or something, something to draw them, and there we go. That
See, it's all little efforts at things that end up in newaza. Well, she's drawn the Shido, 3 not the best of attacks. Nothing from Gwen in return, and now it's Gwen behind the 8-ball, as they say. Is that right?
That's correct. There you go.
Well, not quite that bad, but there's a minute and a bit left to go, and Valkova just with the advantage at the moment. Thought about the Yoko Tomoenagi there.
Actually, that was a good idea. The execution was poor, but actually positioning everything else was really nice.
See, we're inside the last minute now, and things start to look a little bit better. Forty-odd seconds, ticking away quickly here.
Gwen's got to come up with something.
Now, it's important that Valkova gets both hands on and puts in an attack, or else she's going to pick up the penalty for avoiding to take a grip. All these penalties can just undo all the good work. Again, that was okay.
That was better.
Yeah, she's not going to get called for a false attack there.
Again, the position was really nice. She was sort of 90 degrees to her opponent, dropping in.
She moved her. It can't be.
Yeah, they're going to call that off.
Yeah.
Yes. Correct call.
She moved the fighter.
Yeah. That was.
Gwen had to defend it.
There was no doubt in my mind that was a. Yeah, it's going to
real problems. Yeah. I'm surprised at Edwidja Gwend here. 2 passivity panel. She's a clever fighter, but she hasn't demonstrated that here today. And she's given Valkova the opportunity to, burn a Shido. 14 odd seconds left to go. Got to stay upright. Can't afford to get caught. And can't afford to give up the penalty. Got to get her head up and move out of there.
Yeah, the second penalty just gave Valkova the cushion that she needed.
Yeah.
And even though she drops in there for Stemiwaza,
Unbelievable.
That.
She was lucky to get away with that. Really lucky.
Yeah, that was
a poor effort from Valkova.
I didn't think she turned her body 20 degrees.
Yeah.
It just basically dropped to her knees.
So you got away with that.
Very good then. Shall we take a look then at Tashiro Miku?
Yeah, good idea. Tashiro Miku of Japan. She's down on mat number 1. She's up against Hilda Drexler of Austria. It's Tashiro in the white judogi, Drexler in blue.
They were doing some promo work for Rio and the crack video crew here, the IJF. Doing this promo work, and nice little effort there by Tashiro. We were walking down the hall with 3 members of the Japanese national team. We were walking down with Takato, Kondo Ami, and Matsumoto Kaori, and just the 3 of them was just incredible. Here's this Uchimata attempt here by Tashiro, almost a head dive. I mean, she got the leg in, and then she might have been more of a slip there, but But as I was saying, with Takato, Kondo, and Matsumoto, you had 2 individuals with cadet, junior, and senior world titles, and 1 individual with an Olympic and a world title. Not a bad trio.
There's no score up on mat 2 in the contest between Denis Iyatsev and Mohamed Moheldin of Egypt. That one is underway up there. A penalty apiece dished out by the Czech referee. That's a second penalty for Tashira. A little bit untidy.
Yeah, Drexler's certainly doing more than hanging in there. She's giving Tashiro a run for her money. Tashiro would prefer to replicate the performances of Nakamura and Kondo and not go the way of Matsumoto Kaori that we saw yesterday.
It's not the kind of run that she's interested in taking, is it, this one? So we're coming into the same kind of area that Valkova was in with Gwend a minute or so ago, where there's just a minute left on the clock. And how you manage that minute when your opponent is at a disadvantage, having picked up Shido's.
I wouldn't call that a Yuko.
Well, we had the top view. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's
no,
true.
No one else did either.
Yes,
except the man in the middle.
This is actually a good position for Tashiro Miku. This is a turnover that she's quite skilled at.
Well, it's all or nothing here. Yeah,
I knew as soon as she was in that position.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I think it was back in Chelyabinsk where she was in that position with Yarden Jerby, and when she made the turn, she made a mistake with her hips, and Jerby basically transitioned and got the counter there for Saikomi. And then what happened was Tashiro in the bronze medal match worked the same and did it correctly and got her bronze.
A single slip inside the last minute in Nevaza. That's exactly where Drexler didn't want to be with Tashiro Miko. And given that there were 45 or 50 seconds left on the clock, there was really one roll of the dice for the length of time that was going to take to make the turnover. And you can see that because we had 16 seconds left on the clock when it was all over.
You know, most people, if you got that time on the clock, you want to get back on your feet because you have a better chance.
Yeah.
But if you have that confidence in Newaza,
oh, well, what have we got coming up now? Yang Junxia of China faces Maricet Espinoza of Cuba. It's Yang in the white judogi, Espinoza in blue. Yatsev has taken the lead in his contest with Moheldin. Wazari for the Russian with a minute and a half left to go. We're going to stick with the under 63 kilo category for a while anyway. We've got some good matches coming up here. I think the only thing that's going to drag us down to mat number 2 is Sanjigal Niyamocha of Mongolia against Hashimoto Soichi of Japan. That might pique our interest a bit down there, but for the time being it's Yang and Espinoza. Will follow that with Unterwertzach and Silva, Tsendayush and Katarina Hecker, and then An Changrim and Musa Magushkov. Yang has picked up a single Shido. There's plenty of time left on the clock. She's the one with the heavily bandaged fingers. There's plenty of tape wrapped around all her fingers. And Espinoza today sporting a pink hairband. Not quite rivaling the head attire of Idales Ortiz.
I was going to say.
Yeah, she's probably the queen of the headdress. Nice turn over here from Yang. Saikomi. Well, if he's good enough for Tashiro Miku is good enough for Yang Junxian. That was a nice execution there, and she's had to tap out as well. Beautiful execution from Yang Junxia of China. Tough, feisty little competitor.
Pardon me, I was doing my best to sort of research Hashimoto Soichi. Get my ducks in order when he comes up.
Well, it won't be long because Yartsev has just finished off Moy Holding of Egypt Town on mat number 2. That's where the Sanjigol Hashimoto contest is going to take place. But in the meantime, before that, we've got Catherine Unterwertsacher of Austria. She faces Mariana Silva of Brazil. It's the second look at an Austrian this morning in the same weight category, 63 kilos. We had Hilda Drexler a moment or so ago. She lost out, and now we can have a look at her teammate, and you know, someone who has got real aspirations and real expectations, I suppose, of not just going to Rio. That's done and dusted. It's what is she going to do when she gets there. Unterwertsacher in white, Silva in blue.
This is our second look at Silva as well, correct? We had a look at her earlier today, didn't she?
Who was she up against in that first round? Then I think she had the only first round contest.
Just a few minutes we had her with Gutierrez.
Oh, that's right, the Brazilian. No, Mexican. The Mexican and Brazilian first contest. That's absolutely right.
Sometimes I get them right.
Yartsev, as you can see, well, the scoreboard has changed now for them, but he's won his contest down on mat number 2. Yeah, it's hot work, isn't it? For Marco Spitka, head coach of the Austrian team. Unterwertsacher leads by Wazari. And Mirali Sharipov of Uzbekistan takes to the mat against Pierre Duprat of France. I'll leave you with David McFall for a moment. I'll be back for Sagimuki and Wally Kershev maybe. That's on mat 2, but Sendayush and Catherine Hecker, maybe we'll look at Sagimuki when the time comes. Osakami is on.
Well, his teammate Gordon Pollock had a pretty good day yesterday.
Yeah, he picked up that injury, didn't he? I'm not at all sure that he would have come for that contest if there hadn't been the Hansokumake. He was lucky he came out and he was able to take a bow and just take it. He would have had to have faced Kamal Khan Magomedov, but he dodged that bullet.
And Khan Magomedov was really on fire yesterday.
He was steaming, wasn't he?
He was, but he had a bit of a knee issue there with Gordon Pollock.
Unterwertsacher wins out over Mariana Silva. So quarter-final place for Unterwertsacher is beginning to look nice already. It's only 25 past 11. Early days yet, but going through these very quickly. A few more ippons, if I'm not mistaken, David, this morning here.
Yes.
Sangaku Gatami from Unterwertsacher.
That's one of those where perhaps Austria would be a little easier to fill in the sheet.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, on mat number 1 now. Sendayush Senenadmed is up against Katharina Hecker of Australia.
So Austria to Australia.
Sendayush in the white judogi, Hecker in blue.
Mongolians had a pretty good day yesterday, so they can follow it up on day 2. It's Sendayush who gets the first penalty. Gripping infraction. See, she's taking that, working on a high grip there, Sendayush. The Australian just kind of hanging on. Oh, and there we go. That looked like to me a Harai Goshi, and that's going to score for Waza Ari. Didn't have the big hang time, but she was able to catch the leg there. Let's see, nice look. Look at that rotation when she came in. The leg came up. Yeah, it didn't, like I said, didn't get it real high. It was more of a makikomi there, you can see. Then she had it, it looked like she had it locked down for Osaikomi, but may have been one of those cases where they look up at the referee for the score, expecting the ippon, they don't get it. By that time, the cat is out of the bag. It's a bit more of a defensive posture now by Hecker. She's got to be careful there. Australian's going to... Well, she was close to getting nicked for stepping out of bounds, but was more being pushed out of bounds by the Mongolian. I could see a Shido piece coming out here. One goes to blue. Just one to blue. I haven't seen many attacks after that Haraigoshi by Sundayush. See again, she's got the high collar grip. He's even a higher collar grip. They kind of lock down. Quite remarkable how much room that Sundayush had when she was coming in there for that Haraigoshi. She just had really a lot of room to spin in there. Ooh, that's going to take care of it. Good quality Mongolian Asian step. Grab, control the torso, lock it down. Sundayush goes through the next round. She's going to be facing against Undur Wadzaka. I think we are going to stay here because Anshan Grin of Korea is going to come up against Magushkov. That looks like a real good fight. See there, that was the Haraigoshi. Let's see what happened. Just didn't. Not sure why that was called for mate there. And she seemed to have the position. I don't know that maybe she didn't make an effort to get the leg out. A little bit odd. But here we are. On in white, Magushkov in blue. I could see this being a bronze medal match in Rio, but perhaps even a gold medal match. on, a key part of this really strong Korean team. Magushkov, of course. Fiery Russians. Neil Adams was mentioning yesterday that the thing that's really key about the Koreans is that they know how to basically attack from a variety. I mean, everyone has a variety, but a huge variety of gripping positions. And a Shido apiece. Perhaps a bit too much gripping and not enough attacks. Just looking for one of those explosive moves by An, and then the beautiful timing of Magushkov. There, An goes in there for his first Seonage attack. We saw earlier Magushkov with that really nice Deashi Barai counter. I guess it's Tsubame Gaishi. Fairly even as far as the gripping situation. Magushkov rolls in there, just lost his grip, but I think he was looking for an Uchimata there. Definitely had the hip up inside. You can see here the gripping there. There was a good look there at some Ashiwaza by Magushkov. Really his bread and butter. Neither one of these fighters giving the other much quarter. Oh, and a really, really nice Surisome Gaishi there. Actually, it was more, yes. Surisome Gaishi. It started out, I thought for a second he was going to get for a Seonage, but then you could see that the other sleeve was tied up as well. I think that got Magushkov's attention. Well, sure did. It earned a Yuko there for An. Appears to have lit a fire underneath Magushkov. He has a lot more intent there as he looks for some Ashiwaza. And Magushkov was looking for a score there, but they were already sort of down on probably one knee. An's got to be careful there. That could have been hit for a false attack, and sure enough, there it is. So now An has got the two Shidos on the board, but that Yuko is pretty prominent now with 1 minute, 3 seconds left. We're going to see Magushkov's Ashiwaza come on fast and furious. And a third penalty on to An, but with 40 some odd seconds, it's a bit dangerous here. Got to be careful. Magushkov is a crafty competitor. If you give him anything, he'll take it. Really is good with his counters. Really, really nice Ashiwaza. Sheldon showing one of his famous feints. And it appears that An is going to take this contest. Very tactical contest. An again showing why we have high hopes for the Koreans going into Rio. Well, the Mexican Ayala is getting a quick baptism here by Gambatar of Mongolia. Actually, that was the finish up. These are the finishing throws with Mushkov and An.
Yeah, at the moment we've got our fighting films people who produce everything are just running through the warm up for the final block. So we've got some images that they're working on, and we've got those, and they're such good images that we're going to stick with it. We could go to another camera, and then you just get, all the normal stuff. But here you get replays, close-ups, and everything. But we've got to go with what they're doing, and they're just a little bit of a test there.
Hey, that slow motion could have been the final block here, or it could have been the final block in Rio. An versus Magushkov.
Yep.
I mean, absolutely super quality. I watch those guys in slow motion all day.
And now we've got Ganbata Odbaya of Mongolia up against Samuel Ayala of Mexico. And guess what? A Mexican. They just had two Yukos up there. I hadn't seen it. They just taken it off. But there was a moment when he had two Yukos on the board. Ganbata leads by a single Yuko. And down on mat number 2, Sagimuki leads by Wazari over Wally Kurshev of Russia.
The crowd wants this Newaza broken up pretty quickly here.
Yeah, they haven't quite got the final lighting on, so you've got lots and lots of shadows around, but in the final block it's really lit. You don't get those. David, sorry.
I was going to say, I mean, this is another impressive performance. I mean, he's only down by Yuko, Ayala versus Gambatar, who's no slouch. And as you said, he had a couple Yukos, so certainly got this crowd into it this morning.
I think they mistakenly put two Yukos on there, and that's what shocked me. When I stepped in, I hadn't seen the lead up to it. I stepped in, and I saw two Yukos on the board, and they quickly removed them.
Someone else from the judge's position also went, what? What is that?
Yeah, what's happening there? But as you say, it does get the crowd into it. Some of the supporters in there.
There you go. Someone's sleeping behind a Mexican flag. Where is that?
He looks nervous, doesn't he?
Second round for men under 73 kilograms, in white for Mongolia,
Well, as riveting as a hometown crowd favorite is, I think we're going to take a look at Hashimoto versus Sanjigal on mat number 2.
Sanjigal Niyamocha of Mongolia faces Hashimoto Soichi of Japan. It's Sanjigal in the white judogi Hashimoto in blue. And I think David's been doing a little bit of homework about Hashimoto.
Well, I think for most judo fans, 73 categories, we're thinking about Ono or Nakaya Riki. So who is Hashimoto Soichi? And, he's kind of flung under the radar. His biggest international performance was in 2015, where basically, I think it was at Qingdao, he got 3rd place. It's not a bad little performance. And then, let me see, he won at the Asian Games, the Asian Championships this year. So this probably, maybe, Ikose occasionally does this, okay. The owner doesn't want to compete. This guy is able to slide in there, see what he can do. Pretty nice when you've got your top guy is Ono, your second guy is Nakaya Riki, and your third guy is Hashimoto Soichi, and any of those three could have probably qualified for this competition. Actually, I'm not quite sure what Nakaya Riki's rank is recently. Right now, Sanjigal has 2 penalties to Hashimoto's 1. Sanjigal just stretching over there trying to get that Osotogari. Another little bit of Ashiwaza by Sanjigal. See, he's hunting to try to get around the back of Hashimoto. A bit of a wry smile on Hashimoto's face there as Sanjigal sort of reaches in. And now they're even with 2 penalties apiece. I guess he didn't think that was much of an attack, but enough to impress the judges. Sanjigal again going in for Ashiwaza. That one, an Ouchigari. Oh, and that was the first big move by Hashimoto. It's interesting because foot-wise it looked like Osotogari, but hand-wise it was more like Kosoto. Either way, it was not a successful attack. Sanjigal turns in. That was his first real look at Koshiwaza for him. And for his efforts, he earns a Shido for a false attack. Oh! That looked like a better attack there by Hashimoto. Kind of just sort of slipped his torso in there. I would have been hard pressed to call what throw that was. See his referee. He may be calling a Shido on each one of these, which might push Sanjiga out of this match. Nope.
Got away with that.
Yep. So it was definitely a protracted period of time in which there was attack on either side. See if Hashimoto can put in an attack or two in now. At least one, he may. Force the referee to give Sanjigal that last Shido. And Sanjigal goes for the belt grip, and now he's making a little better effort to turn in. Sort of spins Hashimoto sideways. Just throws his leg up there for an attack, but time is not on the Mongolian side. So Hashimoto's going to squeeze by Sanjigal. Really hoping for a bit more action in that match. That didn't quite pan out the way I thought it would.
We had been looking at a couple of the fighters from Azerbaijan yesterday, and there's another one on mat number 1, this time in the under 73 kilo category. It's Rustam Orozhov of Azerbaijan. He's up against Viktor Svortov of the United Arab Emirates. Let's go down there and take a look at that one. Wazari on the board for Orozhov with 50-odd seconds left to go. Both fighters have been penalized once, but Wazari is what's giving him the advantage. Svortov has just picked up a penalty for just kicking away at the leg of Orozhov there. He's got a heavily strapped left leg. Oh, chance on the arm, and it's great work. Absolutely super work from Rustam Orozhov. That was as sharp as it comes. To use one of David McCall's terms, he's no slouch, but got done up there, didn't he? Terrific piece of work from Rustam Orozhov. Polite handshake from sort of a bit untidy there in his defense. I mean, he's just hanging out. He didn't sense any danger at all. Sort of ended up getting caught. Coming up next, Kim Polling of the Netherlands. She faces Barbara Matic of Croatia. It'll be Polling in the white judogi and Matic in blue. Oh, missed out on that one then. It's because it's, I beg your pardon, I'm calling the upcoming contest, Kim Polling and Barbara Matic. On the mat at the moment, it's Arthur Margelidon of Canada against Dirk van Tichelt of Belgium. That's the contest that we're watching now. Margelidon in white, Van Tichelt in blue. Sorry about that, didn't mean to mislead you.
Nice counter that Ashiwaza right there. I don't know how big Nicholas Gill's coaching staff is, but it seems to me when his fighter's out there, he is always the one in the coach's box. His man is doing well here with a Waza Ari up with 3 minutes to go. Against Van Tesch, good quality Belgian. This mat is actually shaping with some nice fights coming up. This is Kim Polling, also for the from Netherlands, versus Barbara Macic, Croatia. Then we're going to have under 70 Portello versus the local Mexican Andrea Pol. And then after that, the multi-world champion Yuri Alvarez versus Mora Devise of New Zealand.
Yeah, that's a tricky one because I think she's from South Africa originally, so that the pronunciation for that name will be De Villiers.
I see.
Yeah, she's maybe Afrikaans. So. But we could check. I will go and have a word with Miss De Villiers.
Always keeping me honest, Sheldon, as far as the pronunciations.
But
it's not hard to do.
Well, that I suppose if you've had any contact with that area, that region, and those names are tricky because they're a cross between Dutch and Belgian, Flemish, and the Afrikaans pronunciation is unique. It is. It's not the same as Belgian. It's not the same as.
And I was incorrect, by the way. There's not Nicholas Gill on the sideline there. I just saw the big red maple leaf shirt, and from here, looking over our monitors with a close-up, I saw the black hair.
It's Almeida.
The build is the build is similar.
Yeah, it's Michel Almeida, formerly of Portugal.
I love the taste of Chulada in the morning.
Zendayush Naranjagel has won her contest on mat 2, defeating Maria Bernabeu of Spain. Things are hotting up, aren't they?
Yeah, I better get busy on these sheets.
Second round for the women under 70 kilograms, 22.
Meantime, still just a Waza Ari. Well, just, I shouldn't say that. A Waza Ari is a lead. There's no just when it goes to a Waza Ari.
But we know what you mean. It's okay. Now, at some stage, we're going to be joined by our IT colleague, our expert on all things to do with ranking and qualification and points and the IGF World Ranking List, Elisabetta Frattini. She's going to tell us whether there have been any changes with regard to qualification, which I doubt really, but definitely with regard to seeding.
Ah, yes.
That's going to be the important thing. So we'll have Elisabetta Frattini, the pleasure of her company, in a few minutes' time. She's done her hair especially for the day, and she's got some makeup on and a flowery print top. So
anybody who's hung around an IGF competition on this side knows that she's the glue that binds this whole game together.
Yeah, so we'll have the pleasure of her company whilst we wait for this decision with regard to Margelidan and Van Tichelt, whatever that action it is that they're looking at and reviewing. In fact, they're reviewing two things, one on mat 1 and one on mat 2, so both sort of stumped. Here's the last action.
Certainly the local fans are not.
I don't think there's anything in there for Margelidon. They were thinking a hand sokomake, but it doesn't look deliberate to me. There is Ippon. Yeah, Sendaiush on the adjoining mat. That was what the chairing was about. Now, is this a hand sokomake or not? Second time around, it looks a little bit more deliberate because he hooks the elbow in onto the leg, doesn't he?
You know,
Yeah.
earlier
Van
in the
Tikkel says, "Hey, what's going on here?"
earlier in the year when we had the referee seminar, it was exactly one of those moves that was one of the examples
Yeah.
of how the rules are applied. And so
Yeah.
his
You
coach
see-
should have nothing to say about that because
Yeah.
he's seen that, or he should have seen that even if he was watching it on the internet.
You see, he takes the elbow, traps the leg. It's not an accident. If the hand to leg, an accident, you might let it go. But this is not an accident. He deliberately traps the leg with his elbow and arm. So
Yes. It may not be his hand there, but the intention
Yeah.
is the same as
Yeah.
using the hand.
Here's another look at it. Not sure whether this gives us the best angle or not.
A bit of, let's say, skullduggery.
See,
That is a great angle,
okay,
yes.
So, excuse me.
Fantastic angle.
You know,
The intention is to use the
Yeah.
elbow like the hand.
like a lever, yeah. So no escape there. Kim Polling of the Netherlands in the white judogi faces Barbara Matic of Croatia in blue. We did introduce this fight previously. By mistake, I did. But here it is now.
What's a fine matchup, Norbert? How well you introduced it. Let's see here. Last exchange, that was what got Kim Pollock her Yuko. She goes to work on the ground here. Pollock just sort of dragging Magic down. I think from our angle, she was looking for a Shimiwaza and didn't quite get it. Now she's switched around, looking for Juji Katame, and then makes another switch and looks for the Osai Komi. So Polling, trying for all the options here on the ground. None of them quite work out for her. Polling, flying in there for Uchimata. Just sort of striding in there for Ochigari. Yeah, the amount of attacks is probably even, but the quality of the attacks, and that looks like a better look at Shimiwaza there, but Magic does not look bothered. Oh, she's got the hand there blocking it out a bit. Polling sort of rolling and striding. There's happened a number of exchanges where Maciek, she's going with the Seanage and sort of getting the double grip and just sort of trying to drag Pauling down, and then Pauling sucking her in and then lopping over and hoping for some newaza. Not really attractive. The judo, that is. So as we get down into the last minute here, Pauling leading by the Yuko. She does have one penalty against her. Maciek could just get a Yuko, she'd be up. She keeps sort of driving it in there, and each time it gets a little bit more dangerous when she tries to drop in for that Seanage, and she doesn't have the Kazushi. And Pauling gets just a little bit closer to Shimewaza or better. Where she had a better look, and now she's using that leverage to try to crank around into Osaikomi, and I think she's got it right there. Looks like Kamishiho. And sure enough, Pauling finishes out Maciek. Just the quality of attacks by Maciek. She never really got any kind of way of unbalancing Pauling. There's no Kazushi there. And then she put herself in this vulnerable position for Shimewaza or worse. So we're going to keep here. We're going to take a look here at Maria Portela. And you can hear the crowd cheering on because she's going to go up against Andrea Pohl of Mexico. Here, get some of the highlights. So they're looking at some of this super slow-mo. There's Pauling looking at the clock and looking to finish off Maciek. See her with Kamishiho. A couple angles there. Sure that after the super slow-mo sequence finishes up, have a look. There we go. Portela versus Pohl. See, there's a lot of movement on the part of the Mexican, but I don't see the movement going anywhere. I don't see it setting up for anything. It just looks like she's keeping busy. Portela turns in. Content to sort of take her time. Probably the best look the Mexicans had. Maybe Poe's settling down a little bit. She probably had quite a bit of nerves. And there we go. That's going to go for Yuko there for Portela. Would be surprised with this arm here, Portela. No, she's not going to be able to convert. Good job by Poe.
And they took the Yuko away. We're going to get a better look at it here because she comes off the other side. It's just not quite enough there.
Yeah.
Slightly generous from the referee there, and his colleagues decided to take that one back. So no score yet. Single penalty against Andrea Poe at the moment. A little over a minute and a half left to go. Bernadette Graf has won her contest down on mat number 2. Which makes it nice and easy for that Austrian name to go in there. The last one was Unterwürzacher.
Well, he's done a good job of staying in there.
Yeah, I dare say they've been on with each other in the past. Same Continental Union, so there's a fan.
Your fan.
Judo TV has a fan. I didn't know she was from Mexico, though.
Oh, yeah?
Princess visiting as well. Look. Single Shido. It's not over. I mean, this crowd will erupt if Poe comes up with a score here.
She's had a couple opportunities.
Quick look at the clock from Portela.
Yeah.
Really wants to be up on her feet here, does Andrea Poe.
She had a look there, and I thought of Makikomi. She didn't take the chance.
Yeah.
It was worth taking the chance there. He's now down by Shido and letting Portela work on the ground. He's just chewing up the clock.
20 odd seconds left to go. One big effort.
That was it. I think that was what she was trying to do.
Well, Portela really should have been given a penalty for avoiding to take a grip there.
I would agree. And obviously the Mexican crowd agrees as well.
But there was a point there when she was just slapping the hands away.
Exactly.
Missed the trick. Oh well.
So Portela slips by there.
Well, on that kind of performance, I don't think she's going to be slipping very much further. See, look, that one.
Yes.
That's just
Right.
the sand slap. Right. Coming onto the mat now. Yuri Alver of Colombia faces Moira de Villiers of New Zealand. It's Alver in the white judogi, de Villiers in blue. And we shall speak to Miss de Villiers now. I'm on my way.
Well, Sheldon was saying there was quite a few ippons this morning, and sure enough, there we go. Big Osotogari. It's the kind of judo that got Alver a trio of world titles. Just absolutely rocked the Kiwis world right there. All right, one and done for her opponent. That brings us up to Sally Conway against Cortez Aldama. Cuban just locking down that leg and then looking to go the other way. You see fine close-up of how high Cortez's grip is as Conway comes around the back. Looks for an Uchimata. When she comes out of it, almost gets scooped up with Ashiwaza by Cortez Aldama. Conway, the powerful Surite there, big collar grip. And Cortez ties up the leg. See, she's using that to try to move around. Bunch of little feints there. Conway, as she went in for the Uchimata, almost got snagged there with Uranage. And now she's fighting for her life, trying to lock up that leg. It looks like it's pretty good because it looks like it's above the knee. So I think she might be safe for Osai Komi. She's also holding with her hand. So that leg is not going to come out. Conway did a good job defending against very, very dangerous Osai Komi position there by Cortez Aldama. She's got to watch out though. That Uchimata attempt there almost turned into a nasty Uranage counter. Conway had a thought there to try to wrap her hand around the back for an Uranage counter of her own. That was a little better look there at Uchimata. And Cortez goes for Stemiwaza. And now it's Conway who is pushing button on the Newaza. And she gets blocked out by Cortez Aldama. Fine little matchup here. Call of mate, and very quickly we are under the 1 minute mark with no Shidos and no scores. With 39 seconds left, a really evenly matched little fight here. This one could go into golden score. So now Conway has the big throw and gets a really huge throw there. Fantastic ippon by Sally Conway. That was big. You saw that hand come around the back, set up. Looked like an Uchimata. Could have been a Haraigoshi. We'll see if we can get a replay on that. You could see not only did she get the height, but she had the nice control on the landing. Really, really nice effort by Sally Conway. Certainly makes the coach smile. See, she tries to catch the leg. She's got the hand up the back. It looks like I would call that Haraigoshi. Let's see if we get a better look here to see if she catches the leg as she comes around. No, it's Uchimata. Really, really gets the hips in there. And I like the way she finished. She avoided getting her leg caught by Cortez Aldama as she comes down. Cortez Aldama tries to grab the foot in case it's a waza-ari. And right away, Conway heads up to get the foot out from between her legs so that she would set up with a really nice kesagatame if need be. Really good heads-up play. Nice judo there by Sally Conway. That's going to bring up, I think, our first look at the 81s today. And we have Fortier of Canada versus Magomedov of Russia. Just the one Cheeto to blue. See there, Magomedov. Not really a head dive, but he's almost losing his head for leverage there. You can see up to this point we pretty much got 63, 70, and 73 all cut up in the brackets. So we're going to have a whole slew of fights at 81. Might be jumping around a little bit today. Try to bring you the best. Big Uchimata look. Just sort of lost control, Magomedov did. But now has got Le Fortier in Newaza here. Then Ura Kesagatame. Looks like he's got really textbook position. Love the way he's got the wrist locked down in the armpit. Really nice fall. It was interesting to see that Uchimata, he kind of lost control, Magomedov did. And so he didn't quite get as high a score as he could have when you saw the big hang time. But I like the way he transitioned there and got into perfect position for Ura Kesagatame. Really nice job there by the Russian. He gets in there and starts well, but actually when he does that kind of, I don't know, head dive-ish move, using his head almost as a pivot there. Here's another look at it. Starts in nice shape, gets up there, and then I think he just loses his balance or it collapses. I love the way he get the transition to Ura Kesagatame. See the control he has. So he loses the control in the throw, but does splendid control at the back. Look at how he transitioned that hand from one hand into the armpit of the other. Right there. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And then locks everything down with the hips. Lots and lots of views there. That's a good prescription for a chiropractor on either side. What beautiful transition there by Magomedov. That brings us up with Botier of Belgium versus local Victor Ochoa of Mexico. Home country has done really well. They've held their own. There's been no matches we've seen so far. It's like a 10-second Ippon or something like that. They've really done well here. Given something for the crowd to cheer about. See, the crowd didn't like that. One cheer to blue. With the crowd cheering. Down by Yuko and a pair of Shido. Doesn't look good for Ochoa.
They haven't been overrun, the Mexicans, have they?
I've been saying that.
You know?
There hasn't been like a 10-second
blowout,
Ippon. No.
yeah.
They're really going
was with
toe to
the Villas, but
Okay.
she's not Mexican.
Right, exactly. right, exactly.
So in a way, I mean, what they've done is they've been able to demonstrate that they can hold their own with good fighters. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to have another dig at Moira there, and I did go to speak to her in the back, and she's distraught at having come all this way, put in all that effort, and then gone out. Unfortunately, went over very quickly to the 3 times world champion. Come on, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
there's no shame in that.
No shame at all. And the fact is that she got the invite to come here, and notwithstanding the quick manner in which she was dispatched, she did earn herself a few points, right?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She would have had to go through that first round.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it was a tough draw. I don't think
Absolutely.
there's any doubt about that.
There's going to be a little break here whilst they just wipe something off Bottio's right cheek.
Gonna have a bit of a scratch.
Actually, it's not his cheek at all. It's his shoulder blade, isn't it? And the referee, rather like a boxing doctor, says, yeah, he's okay. He's good to go. A little dab there and says, yeah,
Put me in, Mick.
it's just a stretch, just a scratch.
Just a flesh wound. Put me in. And you can hear from the crowd people shouting out his name. And they're
Victor.
Victor, Victor.
We've got one of our staff who's called Victor. Maybe he'll be looking up, wondering what's going on. Victor, you're wanted.
You're famous in Guadalajara.
Famous in Guadalajara. Well, you could coin a phrase there, couldn't you? Because there's a very similar one. You could give it a particular meaning. Famous in Guadalajara, because there's another one called Big in Japan. Do you know about that phrase? If you're big in Japan?
I live that phrase every day.
Oh, okay. No, I'm thinking there is a specific meaning for us.
Yes.
In the West, if he's big in Japan.
It's a bit cynical.
Yeah, exactly. It means you're some kind of pop group or something that sold millions of records, but only in Japan, because you happen to be catchy and it's something different. Or a movie star.
Yes.
But you're big in Japan. You're big, but only in Japan. And there's a very famous song, a pop song from the 80s, I think, by Alphaville, a German band called Big in Japan.
Well, there you go.
I'm sure everybody knows the song I'm
Pop
talking
music
about.
trivia.
New Zealand, yeah.
Not to be confused with the Vapors turning Japanese.
Bottio receiving a little bit more treatment than we had originally envisaged, and I think there's a slight overkill. I mean, he's a strong man. I mean,
but they're bringing out Dr. Arnold, so there must be something
serious.
Yes, yes.
Arnie's on the Arnie's on the show, so it must be serious. David's going to take a little bit of a break whilst we have Elisabetta Frattini join us. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're here. That's the important thing. Oh, you want to have a look at the? Do you want to have a look at this, the file? Let me welcome you first. Put your headphones on, darling. This is right. We're going to say good afternoon to Elisabetta Frattini. Ciao, Eli.
Ciao, Sheldon. How are you?
I'm well, darling. You look radiant.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you're able to join us. I'm just going to catch up on the fight and then give you a proper introduction. Bring your chair a little bit closer, darling. Don't be shy. I've known you long enough. Right. It's round 2 of the under 81 kilo category. Joachim Bottio of Belgium leads by a single yuko. Victor Ochoa of Mexico has picked up 3 penalties, but he's really given himself and the crowd something to cheer about here, because it's a good effort. And in fact, none of the Mexicans who fought have been overawed. They've all given something good. And
but they were fighting pretty well.
Yeah, and it's made for nice entertainment. Andre Poe, just a few contests ago, was also, gave a good account.
The atmosphere is great.
Yeah, it's terrific. When the Mexicans are on the mat, they're really good. Although they also cheered for, who was it that? It was Bernabeu and Sendayush, the Mongolian.
Yes, the Mongolian.
They were booing and whistling and everything. They pick a fighter, and then they go with that particular one. Anyway, Bottio it is who wins out there. And what I'm going to do now is introduce you to Elisabetta Frattini. She's been working for the IGF for God knows how long. I'm not going to say because it was embarrassing. Embarrassingly long time. But what a terrific job she does. And if you follow anything to do with the IGF World Ranking List, then Ellie is the one who has complete and total charge of that area.
In a way.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
So Ellie's overseeing that. And we use it, every day, after every tournament, because it's always updated, and it's a vital tool in finding out who's where, who's doing what, who's going up, who's going down. And at this time, when Olympic qualification is so important, there are 2 things that everyone's asking, and using that IGF World Ranking List and judobase.org to get a guide. And it is who's qualified, which I know is a difficult question to answer, and Ellie's going to tell us a little bit about why that's difficult to answer, and where are they in the possible seeding positions for Rio 2016. And just before Ellie answers that, I'm just going to introduce you to round 2 in the under 81 kilo category. Victor Penalba of Brazil in the white judogi faces Ivan Felipe Silva Morales of Cuba in blue. And here's Ellie.
Here we are. So
I'll go back to the qualifying.
No, the
It's difficult about
qualifying
qualification.
is difficult to define till the end of this week. I mean,
why is that? Why is
most
it-
of the athletes, more or less, or our audience more or less know that qualification period is a long one. It's difficult to define because mostly because of the continental quota on one side, and second thing is which one of the athletes will be selected by their own federations, because when we have, as you know, in any category, they only can have one per country. So in many categories, a lot of countries have more than one athlete in the best ones.
Some doubles.
So some doubles, some triple.
we saw
We saw the
German
we
Viola
can say,
Wächter.
German, Austria, Japan, Mongolia, France. So Russia, they can pick up one of the athletes they have in the best ones. So this can change radically the seeding, and as well the qualifying. I mean, depends on how many doubles we have. We go down in the selection, because the first selection of the direct qualify goes through this. So if we have 3 double in the best 24, we go down and picking up the others.
Okay,
I would say that the most interesting tournament has been Kazakhstan this year, because we saw many tears, joy tears, sorrow, and so on, because there were some unexpected results and people getting in or out.
Yeah, that was for some people the realization that the dream had
It
come to an end.
come to an end. It was hard. It was hard.
I'm
It was
just
a
going to
really hard
mention one
weekend.
person. I know it's difficult, but I am going to mention one person, especially because we've got Travis Stevens of the United States of America on the mat at the moment, Nassif Elias of Lebanon, Stevens in blue, and Elias Stevens in white, Elias in blue. I'm going to mention one because we'd come to know her so well, and she'd put so much out there on social media about wanting to go to the games and had tried so hard, like a lot of people, lots of fighters had tried so hard. But we were really aware of Hannah Martin from the United States of America, and I'm sorry that she couldn't make it, because it was heartbreaking. But hey,
we had a couple more.
There's plenty more.
Yeah, plenty more.
You mentioned
actually.
a couple then. Let's give a shout out to a few people. Why not?
The one that comes to my mind being Italian is most probably Moscat.
Valentina
that
Moscat.
was so close to qualification, not only this time but the 2 times before.
No doubt.
And this is hard, and you'll see.
Right.
But okay.
So we're not going to talk about.
Don't talk about the sorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Let's go to the happiness. Yes.
And we're not going to talk about who's qualified or not, because we still have some decisions.
We still have these decisions to
go,
to
be made.
And so the final list will be, the final invitations will be sent by the 10th of June. So.
But what we can mention.
We can mention
a couple of people who we know who've moved into.
Oh yes, yesterday. But by yesterday, because today the game is still on.
Still afoot.
Yes. So we can say that Azerbaijan did very good. No, yesterday, moving from position 6 to position 3.
Orkan Safarov.
Yes, Safarov.
So when you're 6. And there are only 8 positions going, it could be that someone will overtake you. Now that's not going to happen.
No. Because
and now he's moved up to number 3.
Because the first 3, 4, we have only one country, so it's not a matter of decision of who's going to pick it, as we said before. And let's say 66. Not many news. Just number 2, number 3. Which makes a big difference actually,
up or down,
because up and down in the contest sheet means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You meet if you're number 2, you meet number 1 on the final.
In the final,
yeah. So this can be. But ladies are more moving.
Okay.
Also because for ladies the qualification was still interesting here.
So we
I
had
mean,
the one big mover, which was Orkan Safarov in the under 60 kilo
this for
category
me
for
was
Azerbaijan.
yeah.
He went from, I think he was 11, wasn't he?
It was
11 to 3.
no, it was 6.
Oh, okay, 6 to
6
3.
to 3.
Okay,
Oh,
right.
this good. And then Georgian moved in 66. That was not pushing out Belarus for the so that's the main. But as we said, this also depends on the pickups. And 48, Kondo.
Yeah, Kondo made a
Kondo made it.
big move.
yeah, because she's now number 3.
Okay.
And Spain as well moved up one.
Figueroa had a really
Figueroa,
terrific
yes.
day. I was
Yeah,
really
yeah,
pleased
yeah.
for her. She's
Yeah.
sitting
She's sitting somewhere in the back here, right?
A few meters
Yeah.
behind us. It obviously doesn't know that
We're talking
we're
about
talking
because
about her,
they don't have access.
but we're very pleased
yeah,
for her. She's been on an upward climb this last 12, 18 months, and I'm pleased for her.
yeah. Unfortunately, Van Snick is out of the seeding now because of the Korean young.
Yeah, Jong Bo Kyung
Jong Bo Kyung came in.
snuck in there and pushed Van Snick down, the Olympic bronze medalist from London 4 years ago. Will just have to be a roll of the dice and go anywhere.
You're right.
And that's not a good thing for the others.
Yeah, no, because as the game is in, they can do their best.
Right, so
And we
Kondo,
know
Figueroa.
some names, Sheldon
Uh-huh.
and 2 French.
Oh.
So that will be interesting to see. We had to say that Reservoir in Masters, that's their competition.
Yeah, that's
Because
yeah.
what happened last year,
Yeah.
she was picked up as last in as a repechage
as the
and a
selection,
reserve list, and she was second last year.
Ended up taking a medal.
Yeah,
She's done it
And
again.
and she did again, exactly. And that's the situation by today.
Ellie, thanks very much
That's
for letting.
we will see
letting us
tomorrow
know.
what's going on, because it will be interesting by tomorrow to see who's going up and down.
We'll hear from Ellie again tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Then. Elisabetta Frattini back to her spot. We're going to have David McFall come back in
I will
to join
call him.
us. Okay, thanks, Ellie. And it's a terrific job that Elisabetta does, and we really do rely on that information, not just for in the commentary here, but when you're at home and trying to work out who's going and who's not, and who's seeded and who's not. So thanks very much to Elisabetta Frattini for that one. 3 penalties picked up by Nassif Elias. 2 by Stevens. And that, unfortunately, for Mr. Elias is that. Stevens it is, who negotiates his way past the tricky Nassif Elias.
A real nail biter that one was.
Yeah, into the quarterfinal. Okay, coming up next, Tashiro Miku of Japan. It's a quarterfinal in the under 63 kilo category. Tashiro Miku in the white judogi will face Yang Junxia of China in blue. There's David.
Well, we saw in the very last 30 seconds or so of her last match, Tashiro showing the newaza that she's well known for. Let's see what she can do here against Yang of China. Is it Zheng Shui? Swan?
Jun Xia.
Xia.
Yeah, that XI is Xia. And she's a really nice girl, actually. The Chinese are really easy to get on with. They are, very approachable, and they like it when you get their names right. They like that. They're not that difficult, to be honest.
You've got a little bit of Chinese language ability. Got a few
It's
phrases out there.
Yeah, just the key. You learn a key thing about a couple of pronunciations, and then off you go. There's our translator coming up now, Wang Go Chao, who we refereeing next. He's always helpful if you fall short of a pronunciation or two.
Now for Yang, I think the one advice is this is not the place that you want to be with Tashiro Miku. Don't give her a chance on the ground.
I'm going to leave you with David McFall. He's going to be joined by Neil Adams. I have the privilege of Neil's company now.
Always a privilege. Good afternoon, Neil.
Good afternoon, David. How's things?
Good afternoon, David. And well, we've just been watching some controversy, which is quite interesting. A little bit, anyway. Close matches.
Are you referring to the Stevens match?
Well, just a little bit. It was close, and I think every match at this kind of level is going to be hard. It's going to be tough, and I think a few nerves as well.
Yeah, that was a real nail-biter there.
So you're talking about Tashiro Miku a little bit earlier with the transition.
Yeah, I really feel that if I was going to fight her, I would do everything I possibly could to keep her on her feet. You don't want her on the ground.
Well, it's all about transition, isn't it? We like to see the transition, a little bit more groundwork today than there was yesterday, which is a good thing. Halfway through the contest, and Shido for Yang, second Shido.
She finds herself behind halfway through the contest, as you said. See, it's that kind of sloppy attack that's going to basically set her up for Tashiro to come over the top with his newaza. You can see she's doing the sprawl.
Well, she's looking for the obitorige, isn't she? And just trying to get the right moment for the turnover. Hot, though. It's so warm in this stadium. There's no air conditioning in this stadium, so we're all dying in the commentary position here. So it must be absolutely murder for the athletes out there in the middle.
Even the warm-up area is really, really hot. I guess it's easy to get warmed up, but then you get to a certain point where this is going to basically bite into your conditioning a bit.
See, this is what we were talking about yesterday, is the difference between getting hot and warmed up, actually, you're not able to warm up the body properly and the muscles up properly because you're too hot, and that can be one of the problems with having this kind of heat and not having any kind of air conditioning. So some of the athletes actually, even though they're warm, are coming not properly warmed up, so it's an interesting thing that, and I've seen it several places when they haven't got air conditioning in the warm-up area.
So if you were a trainer or a coach, what would be your approach to properly warming up the athletes in this kind of environment?
Well, I think what I would do is short, sharp blasts and just 2 minutes at a time, and I think that's the only thing you can do, and but being warm and being hot isn't enough. And we just saw that a couple of fighters came out and come unstuck because just not in the game really, and didn't get started. But Tashiro now just starting to go to work. She knows that if she puts her under just a little bit more pressure in this last minute, then Honsokomaki for Yang.
For Yang, she's just got to attack like no tomorrow because there is no tomorrow for her, or no this afternoon, let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, this is for a place in the semi-final, so she has to attack Yang.
But yeah, if you get a little bit untidy with that, as you were saying with transitions, Tashiro is going to be all over you. In this case, the clock is working in her favor.
Well, 16 seconds, just needs to block out. Little bit of tactics and good Uchimata there just to finish it off. So Yuko, and straight in for the Juji. Yeah, she finishes it off. That was a beautiful transition, as David was saying. Nice bit of transition, this time into the Juji Gatame, and it was an Uchimata that started it off. 4 seconds left on the clock.
Well, the thing is, when her opponent gets in that desperation time, they start to throw everything at it, and they leave themselves open to those kind of attacks.
Yeah, well, she was coming forward, wasn't she? She had nothing to lose. Needed an ippon. But Toshiro Miku goes through to the semi-final. Makes it look easy. And that's interesting as well, just not blowing at all. Very cool, calm and collected. Strong fight for grips, as you would expect. There's the Uchimata. Double stab Uchimata, straight the way over. And look at the arm there, straight onto the arm.
That was
just needed to straighten it out.
Just lovely. You know, assessing yesterday the two Japanese who did well, Kondo and Nakamura, Kondo kind of relied on her newaza, her tachiwaza wasn't quite there. But Nakamura was really the solid package, wasn't she?
You know, I think that it's very important to have the whole package, as you say. We're not just about throwing. And I think even the countries that have trained more specifically in tachiwaza now realize that newaza is very much a part of it. And especially with the rules now allowing for continuation and for transition, and the referees are allowing it to go on. But it just has to filter down. It hasn't filtered down yet to European Cup and below level, and I think that once it does that, then the whole ethos of teaching and coaching newaza and transition in the clubs, which is where it's important, I think that it will improve.
I was mentioning this to Sheldon yesterday. If you look at the Russian women's team, I think what they started is a building block of building solid newaza skills first, and then letting the tachiwaza kind of develop.
Well, Untitled Archer is out here, and there just took... Well, Sendeush took Untitled Archer straight the way over, but Untitled Archer's actually in the hold there. Tatishio Gatami.
Looks absolutely solid.
Well, absolutely it does.
Even got the legs locked up there with the feet.
Outside the area, and they'd actually put the score onto the wrong side. Sendeush had the score on there, but it was Untitled Archer that did the tip. And then again, continuation into the outside commi. So Untitled Archer really back to the very best form. In the semi-final of the World Masters. Marco Spitka, I know for sure, will be very, very happy about that.
Here we go. Well executed. Here we go with the slow motion here.
Yeah, well, it was a poor technique. Untitled Archer just tips her over, directed straight into the Tatishio Gatami.
This is the danger, and we've seen this a couple times today, where if you don't execute the technique cleanly, you leave yourself really open. And as you were saying, they're giving you time now on the ground to do that work.
Yeah, well, it's also just staying there just that second or millisecond too long, isn't it? Good newaza, though, from Untitled Archer. And yet again, we've seen good newaza.
So you're saying it would be better for her to have bailed out instead of trying to put the extra effort in there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got to know when to come out. You stay there too long, especially with some of the good counter people, and then too long is obviously going to work against you.
Yeah, I think with the kind of like the uranage specialists especially, right? You sort of get caught in a throw, they wrap you up, and all of a sudden you get dumped to the other side.
Absolutely. Well, An Chang Grim, one of the favourites here, I think, in Olympic favourites for me, to get through to the medals anyway. Obviously, Ono, top favourite. But An Chang Grim, third in the World Championships. Here he is fighting Gambatar of Mongolia in this quarterfinal.
Well, for me, An versus Ono is my dream Olympic final right there.
Well, it is for me as well, and I must admit that when they did have the meeting, it was a couple of months back, and I thought, well, this is going to be quite amazing, and Ono made quite easy work of it, actually, and I was surprised by that. But An Chang Grim getting better and better by the contest.
Well, I think of all of the weight classes you look at, if you look at people who are a bit above their peers, a bit of a gap, of course, the most obvious one is Teddy Raniere, but I think Ono is up there. He's got definitely a bit of distance between himself and the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that proved it as well, because An Chang-Grim, I thought, the only one to beat him, or able to beat him. But An Chang-Grim, like I say, still improving. And he has, well, the two Ans, actually, great talents coming out the Junior World Championships directly into the seniors and performing well at senior level. But got his work cut out here with Gambatar.
I did a good job with Mogushkov in the earlier round there. I think it was a 2 yuko difference, but that was a really much tighter fight than the 2 yukos. Really good tactical fight, great gripping.
Yeah, well, of course, and the Russians trying to sort out their team for the Olympics. There's the Sianagi, a beautiful Sianagi he's got, Chang-Grim. And he's going to get a Shido for that. He's already got one up on the board. Referee let him get away with it. Very lucky there, actually. It was no-handed.
Slipped the noose there.
Slip the noose. Love that expression. Going to use that one.
You know, I would like to see it. He's got a nice Kouchi there to sort of set up that Sianagi, and he hasn't done that enough in this match. We showed a little of that with the Mogushkov match.
Yeah, like you said, good action-reaction he has. Needs to set it up, and quite often, in order to set up the line. The thing I like about An Chang-Grim is that, and Ball as well, is that once they attack with the Sianagi, if it's out of line, if it's not connected properly, the second and third attempts, they readjust. And that's the nice thing about him. And he'll get closer and closer to the center point of Gambatar. But he needs a score now. 2 minutes to go. And he needs a score. Reverse Sianagi. There's the Kouchi.
I like that second effort right there, the Kouchi. Good heads up. As he turns out, he turns back in quickly and tries to grab the leg. I don't think he really controlled the hands very well after he snatched the leg with his foot.
No, I think you're right. Just looking just a little bit flat, An Chang-Grim. I've seen him a little bit sharper than this. But I said yesterday, I pointed it out, you never know where they are in their training regime and how much work they've put in coming into this contest. Don't forget, for everybody watching out there, that this is the last point-scoring event prior to the Olympic Games. Some are using it as preparation. Of course, good result here is good, but the most important one, of course, is the Olympic Games.
Absolutely.
Well, he's really got to go to work now. 1 minute to go. An Chang-Grim losing this by 2 Shidos. So third one up there to An Chang-Grim, and that is incredible really, because the Koreans normally just all out action. To see them get 3 Shidos in a match of this level. Gambatar Adbayar just fighting incredibly tactically well. 30 seconds to go. Well, An Chang-Grim here, Sheldon's back with us now. An Chang-Grim, 3 Shidos down, and incredible really. I'm just saying now that a very on-form Korean team, and it just looks to me as having a real problem here with Gambatar. Gambatar doing everything tactically correct.
He's going to burn one of those Shidos that we talk about.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that An Chang-Grim looks hot, but, then people will really take it the wrong way. But it is hot, isn't it, in this stadium? Yeah. And these athletes are really suffering out there. You know, the interesting thing as well is that we were just saying about warm-up, you know, and David just said to me, he said, well, it's, you know, it doesn't take long to warm them up. And I said, well, no, it's a difference between being hot.
Different type of warm-up, yeah.
Difference between being hot and actually warming the body up, yeah. And they're not able to do it because it's just, there's no air conditioning in the warm-up area. Second penalty up to Gambatar.
He's going to get another one there. He just stepped out. Well, they'll give him a third. Well, they should.
Well, if they
then
give
it'll
him
be golden
third,
score.
well,
he stepped out.
Absolutely, and that's what we talked about, wasn't it? You know, even in the last second, is it going to happen?
Doesn't look like it, though. Yeah,
No,
he snuck it. So, shocker. But we will see Anne again in the repechage contest. But it'll be Ganbatar Odbaya who goes into the semi-final. Let's take a little look at some clips and highlights and slow motion whilst we wait for Moira de Villiers. Moira de Villiers is going to come and join us because she had a bit of a rough ride this morning with the 3 times world champion and Olympic bronze medalist Yuri Alver, and yeah, it was a little bit of a toughie. And that gives me a little bit of a break. Back for the semi-finals.
Back for the semi-finals?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Look forward.
I'll be there.
In the style of Michael Jackson. He's doing his karaoke impressions now. Right, let's just introduce the contest that we've got on map 1. The quarterfinal in the under 73 kilo category. Rustam Orozhov of Azerbaijan faces Dirk van Tichelt of Belgium. It's Orozhov in the white judogi, van Tichelt in blue. And if you can hear some high-pitched squeaking in the background, that's Kayla Harrison. She's a few meters away from her. She's got a very recognizable voice and tone. She's on her way out. But I'm delighted to have with me, it's the first time that we've invited Moira up here, and it's Moira de Villiers. Good afternoon, Moira.
Good afternoon.
Long flight.
Very long.
Yeah, so took a lot out of you.
Not too bad. You get used to it because we always
I'm
have
trying to
to
give you some excuses now. You better start taking them.
No excuses.
How long, I mean, what was the trip? You flew from where to where?
I got a Facebook message from Lisa on Thursday, kind of morning New Zealand time, and 20 minutes I was probably at the airport, and then I went from New Zealand, Christchurch to Auckland to Honolulu to Houston, and then to here.
And it didn't take anything out of you?
You get used to it, you sleep where you can, and you kind of adjust.
And you had how long to prepare?
I got here on Friday morning, and I weighed in within 6 hours of arriving, and then that was it. How
was the weight?
Yeah, good.
is
When I
your
got
weight
the call up,
good?
I don't sit too far over the weight, so
okay.
It was all right. And then just eating less on the plane. So
there's a medical paper that was produced in one of our, I can't remember which one of the back issues of the online magazine that we've got in the IJF, that tells you about the water retention during long-haul flights. I don't know if you've ever read anything about that.
Well, I actually have really bad water retention.
Okay,
flights.
so the worst thing that you could possibly do close to a weigh-in is to have a long-haul flight, you know.
Yes.
So that makes it really tricky. So it's just as well you don't sit too far over that weight. The other thing is the elevation of the competition venue. So where we are, the elevation. Do you know how high above sea level we are here?
No, Lisa was telling me yesterday.
Right. That's another thing that comes into the equation.
Yeah.
And the recovery time needed to get used to the air and how quickly you recover, all those sorts of things come into it.
Yeah.
So it's very, very tricky when you add up all of those things and just the tiredness that it takes out of you. I mean, we think that we're okay because we travel all the time.
Yeah.
Believe me,
Yeah.
it takes a lot out of you.
Well, the first time I was in a bed within over 24 hours was last night.
Right, okay. And then you've got the vagaries of the draw to deal with. And the kind of people that you want to be avoiding are the 3 times world champion and
Three-time
Olympic
world
bronze
champion.
medalist
Exactly.
in your opening contest.
Exactly.
You're unable to avoid that. That's just what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
there were a couple of people that would have given you a tough fight,
Yeah.
but where you would have had, presumably, if the bookmakers were doing it, you'd have had better odds.
Yes, absolutely. There was a few people that I've come up against, and I've gone the whole distance, very close to beating.
Right. Let's put that behind us, because we did that to death when you were, off the mat. Yeah, we did that to death, and we're not going to go back there. What we're going to do is to go forward. So, what's on the horizon for you? What are you looking at? What's next for you?
Not too sure yet, because we're opening a new company in New Zealand for kids, like a kids gym.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be the first, and so that's kind of the priority. Getting married.
Okay. How long is that?
That's in November, so that's something to look forward to.
Okay.
To Jason Costa, who will
Okay,
probably
yeah,
qualify
yeah.
for Rio. So we've got a busy year.
And what was the situation with your qualification with regard to direct qualification, continental quota possibility, all those sorts of stuff? How
Well, with the continental quota, I'm about 64 points away from that. So this was kind of the last
at least
competition.
a win.
Yes.
Yeah, to squeeze out some points, because
Yeah,
we got
exactly.
the medal points up here: 700 for gold, 420 for silver, 280 for bronze. So any one of those would have been, had you partying all night. But a 5th place or a 7th place would also have done it.
Seventh place would have been about 120 points. We did the maths. And
so a
as you
single
do.
win would have done it. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
But it is what it is.
Same position for Aleta Podolak of Poland yesterday. A single win
yes, yeah.
would have really helped her out. But she's got a continental quota.
Oh,
place.
okay, that's good.
But there are a few changes that can happen that can shift people around and move people. So she's
Yeah.
still, hanging on there by a fingernail.
I think we've all done the math, and we're all watching everybody so that we know who's coming where and getting what continental quota exactly.
Yeah. So the Olympic experience, then, the prospect of going to a games and everything. Have you?
Well, I've been to London.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's still good, but at the end of the day, I'm only 26, so I still haven't decided.
Right. Now, so for me, unless you and Jason are talking about instant family or mega business plans,
Yeah.
the thing would be to go away from here, take some time, look at the plans,
Yeah.
do the wedding thing. You've got plenty of time, and then next year you begin thinking, right, do I prepare for 2018 and the push for that 2-year qualification to be full on? So you're on the mat, you do a few competitions here and there, and then 2018, bang, everything that you can do to put yourself in the best possible position, because continental championships, I mean, if you won those, then
Yeah, well, if I had won those, this wouldn't be an issue,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it was
yeah.
just a small mistake on
who
the
did
day.
you lose to?
I lost to an Aussie girl that I never lose to, Affy, I think.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, you know now where the big qualification points for you and your
Absolutely.
best possible scoring positions are, and if you really want to taste that Olympic experience again, in particular in Japan, I mean, can't get any better than that.
Exactly.
And then, don't put all your eggs into this and think, oh my God, something's going to happen.
No.
Really look at the other
Yeah.
things that you've got going. Business coming, you've got a wedding coming up, you've got lots and lots of good things in the future, including the possibility of attending the games.
Yeah,
in Tokyo.
exactly.
Really,
Well, we don't have anybody in New Zealand coming up at the moment, so it's not as if it's threatening. So we'll see how we go.
In that case, we should look forward to seeing you again on the circuit. It's hard,
Hopefully.
isn't it? Going around and doing all of them.
It is.
But we saw yesterday, we were looking at Yahima Ramirez of Portugal, and we were looking at how it is that she managed to qualify for the Masters, because she got pulled in right at the end. You go
yes,
down
yeah.
and down and down, and then you grab someone, the same sort of situation.
Yeah.
And we were looking at her contest record of either Africa or Oceania or some continental stuff here in Pan America, and think, hey, that's where she picks up the medals. That's where she's doing it. She doesn't do anything at the Europeans, doesn't do anything on the world level.
Yeah.
You know, she's just very selective about where she goes to pick up those. Well, you will have probably seen her, although she's the weight above you.
Yes, she is, yeah. You do have to be selective, especially for us in New Zealand, there's no funding, so...
Yeah, so the timing for you must be absolutely perfect, so that you hit that continental championship level absolutely strong and you win it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And then you've got that in the bank, and then you can play with the other things,
yeah,
you know, as a possibility, because you're not that far off, you know.
No,
when
not
you add
far
those
off at
up.
all. And then we did the South American tour as well, so that was really good. We got 3 medals for 3 tournaments the year before, so it's a good little circuit that we did.
There's not a great deal that, you know, somebody who's not, you know, that close to you can say, but everybody on this side, I know we seem removed from the personalities and everything, but we all feel for it. We all spoke about it. We all said, let's go and talk to Moira, because, you know, it's just a long way to come. Lisa was at pains about it, because we know you would have wanted to have given a much better performance than that. But sometimes you just get caught.
Yeah,
you know,
sometimes you
the
just
best
freeze.
players, you know, it just happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things.
Whether you lose at the end of a fight or the beginning of a fight, the result's still the same. So,
Who is
unfortunate.
your pick? Who is your pick then for the under 70 kilo category?
Well, I'd like Yuri to win, obviously, losing to her. But she's a very great fighter.
Have you been on with her training camps and things?
Training camps I have, yeah, and she's
incredibly quiet, isn't she?
She is very quiet, and she sticks very close to her coach, very, very close.
Yeah, I remember in 2009 in Rotterdam when she won the World Championships, and everybody said, "Flash in a pan. It's a dead year anyway."
Yeah.
Beijing, you know, the next year no one's going to be interested. Really, you know, we've got. I'm doing this book. It's the 50 top competition judoka. Not the best 50, just 50 top competition judoka. She's in the book.
Oh,
She's
good.
special. 3 world titles.
Yeah.
You know, those are not accidents.
No, she's a great fighter. And Kim Polling's coming up as well. I mean, she is ever since she was a junior. So I think, personally, I think they'll probably meet in the final. I think they're on the other side of the draws.
Kim has sat in your seat when she first won the Junior World Championships. It was the lights were on her, and she was, you know, like a rabbit in headlights. It was really funny.
Yeah.
But things have changed. She was confident then.
Yeah.
But not cocky. She was just confident.
Yeah.
That's all. Now on the other side, on mat 2, you've got Bernadette Graf. It's another Junior World Champion that we've seen, who I think could, you know, end up being a real handful.
But Perez has been coming up as well the last couple of comps.
Well,
she's a very difficult fight. Even I fought her, and she's a very, very difficult fight.
Well, they've got a few you know, normally, you know, from the European angle, we can kind of pass out, you know, Pan America in some weights, not at 70 kilo.
No.
You know, there are a few there, you know, including, we mentioned Alver, Perez, the Cuban, Kalita Zupancic. Okay, there's no one from the States at 70, but, you know, except your buddy now.
Yeah, Kayla, teaching me how to smile.
You see, it's a pity that she wasn't around, because she's an incredible motivator. She really is. You know, that's the kind of person you're going to try and rub shoulders with and make friends with, and, you know, say, hey, I'm going to need you tomorrow.
I actually was lucky, because being in the Oceania, we, as much as we fight against each other all the time, I'm always with Australians, so it's always nice to at least have familiar faces on the other side of the world.
Bernadette Graf has won her contest on mat number 2.
That's
She's
really
stepping
good.
off now.
Yeah.
We just saw Kim Polling winning out against Maria Portela. And coming on to mat number 1 in the next quarterfinal, Yuri Alver of Colombia faces Sally Conway of Great Britain. It's Alver in the white judogi, Conway in blue. And I think Moira and I are going to pay close attention to this one. And then we're going to let Moira go. She might fancy some lunch.
Yes, yeah.
1:15. You know. I was chatting to Maura about her background, and we were laughing about David McFall having butchered her family name, and I suggested that it might be from South Africa and Afrikaans, and you just confirmed that, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. I've been. We only moved over to New Zealand about 13 years ago. So
Only.
only.
You sound
Half
pretty
and half.
pretty Kiwi to me.
Yeah, I know. I am, but apparently when I get cross, Jason says I sound very South African very quickly.
And I bet there are a few choice terms that come out
Yes.
from your background.
Yeah, exactly. My dad's temper.
Where in South Africa did you come from then?
Pretoria.
Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed many nice visits to Pretoria
It's a nice place.
because for my sins, I'm also very interested. There are two sports that I'm interested in, and they both have to. Both sports have this white background to them as far as the wearing of a kit is concerned. So that's a hint for you. And if it's South Africa, it's got to be cricket. So
Cricket.
I was very interested in cricket. I played plenty of cricket in South Africa, in country districts,
Oh, nice.
and also in a place called Witbank, which is now
Witbank.
yeah, Witbank. It's
Witbank,
kind of
yeah.
mining area. It was in well, they call it Mpumalanga
Yes.
now, but it used to be the Northern Transvaal. That got changed. I like
A
South
lot has
Africa.
actually been changed since we've left, since the president's been very interesting man.
Single Shido against Sally Conway. And speaking of South Africans, I think, is it only Zach Piontek? I think he's the only one.
He's a
around,
very
isn't he?
good fighter. Yeah.
Ooh, nice
Oh.
counter. Really, she
Wazari?
seized on
To
that
Sally?
quickly. Yeah.
Nice.
I think when they show the replay of that, you'll just see that Alve's not convincing.
Yeah.
You know, she offers herself up there by putting that arm over.
Yeah.
And you can't hang on. You know, the arm goes over, go.
Yeah.
And she just stood there for a split second, and Conway was able to come up with that counter. Well, now we're going to see how deep Yuri Alve can dig. Well, the only thing they can be looking at here is whether it was Ippon
Exactly.
or not. No doubt it was Conway's score. There's no doubt that it was a score. Yeah, okay, so that's not a problem. It's going to be Wazari.
I'd
There's
say
no,
Wazari.
no possibility of Ippon.
No-
Okay.
oh,
no
no
score
score.
at all. So she pulls her opponent onto the body. That can be the only thing.
Yeah. That's
That
very
can be-
interesting
yeah.
because Sally definitely looked like she threw.
So that counter was waved away on account of Conway having pulled her opponent on top of her
Yeah.
and then onto her back. So a slim line there, but I'd say that Yuri Alve dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, definitely.
He agrees. He's got his earpiece and he can hear the commentary. Yeah, you're right. 120 yard left to go, and Conway going again, this time right side with that little drop Seanagi. It doesn't come off, and Alve just manoeuvres Conway off the mat. And as a result of that, Conway not able to stand
Another
up strong
Shido.
enough, and she picked up the Shido. Well,
It's interesting because I thought that was her attack there. She wasn't stepping out or anything.
yeah, the referees don't always see it your way, I'm afraid. Second penalty picked up by Conway.
Oh, no, get out.
And all of a sudden, from just being that single Shido down and then being a Wazari up, she's 2 penalties down.
Yeah.
Well, now Alve joins the penalty feast and she picks up a penalty. Emotionless. You can't read anything on her face. A nice effort
No.
there with the Osodogari, and then when it doesn't materialise, she manages to bring the left leg around and,
Yeah.
and stop any possibility of
This
a
is
counter.
pretty tight.
Osakami called by Edison Minakawa, the referee, and if it's not, then Sally Conway will turn out, and if it is, there'll be no movement. And Murray was right, that was tight.
Yeah.
Unusual.
Yeah.
Really unusual. I'm going to have to say Kozuri's Sangaku Gatami because it's just so unattractive, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
But
and
it
if-
works
yeah.
because it pins the shoulder
Yeah,
down and you've
yeah.
got the leg.
And when we speak about immobilization, she was immobilized.
Yeah. Good to get out of that, though. 5 seconds left.
Well, even if it wasn't Wazari, it was Yuko. There was long enough there.
I think it was definitely a score.
There was Osai Komi, and it was long enough for Alver to have scored. Now, if we go back to Sally's score, when we see or what was judged not to have been a score, when you see it, because we've been looking at it as a scoring technique for Sally Conway. What
Yeah.
we've now got to look to see is whether or not the technique was valid by bringing her opponent down
Yeah.
onto some scoring part of the body before she brought her down onto her own body. That's going to be the question, and I think we'll see that in the replay. So, Conway on the receiving end of a couple of pieces of bad luck, really.
She's a great fighter, though, Sally.
Yeah, she had a nice big Ogoshi earlier on.
Nice. On Onyx.
Through the Cuban. Yeah. If they've got this in the highlights already. No, just the turnover. Well, there's the problem. She gets the arm wrapped up. She feels the pressure, tries to move, and at that point,
It's too late.
yeah, that she's not. Alver's not in there by accident. This is by design.
Yeah.
And when by design,
That's
you
very, very tight.
yeah, you immobilize your opponent.
Yeah.
Osai Komi, irrespective of whether we can identify the wazzer or not. You know,
Oh, they're not going to show Sally's one.
Yeah.
She's not the winner, that's why.
Nah. Oh well.
That's a good throw, though.
Yeah. And she was unlucky not to pick up a score.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on. Zirazuddin Magomedov of Russia is up on mat number 1 now. He faces Joachim Bottio of Belgium. It's Magomedov in the white judogi, Bottio in blue. You're quite comfortable here now.
I am. It's easy enough.
It's easier to look at it from here as well. First of all, there's no pressure. You know, you haven't got a contest coming up.
No.
And then you
exactly.
can look and analyse and break down everything that everyone else is doing. And I used to dislike looking at the monitor. Always used to like to look at the tatami.
Yeah.
But now, with the replays and the angles and everything,
Yeah.
it's not that bad. And I've become quite used to going to a judo competition, spending 3 days there and not watching one fight, and just watching the monitor for the whole time. Missed without Uchimata did Magomedov. He's one of 3 Russians in that weight category.
3.
Yeah, we were missing Hassan Khan Musayev. He was entered originally and then he withdrew. Single Shido against Magomedov at the moment. He promised so much a couple of years ago and then got kind of overtaken by 4 other Russians. They've got quite a depth in that particular weight category.
Yeah, 81s is always quite a hard weight. It's always one of the biggest ones.
We mentioned Yuri Alver in 2009, and in 2009 they had the world champion in Ivan Nifontov, who snuck in there at a time when Kim Jae-bum and Ole Bischoff were, ruling the roost. And then all of a sudden, Nifontov was in there as a youngster coming up. Ended up with a bronze medal in London, and that Russian team ended up taking 3 gold medals, a silver and a bronze. But I don't know whether they're going to have that
I don't think so.
degree
this
of
time
success
round.
this time round.
Yeah.
They've lost Arsene Galstian. He's not going to make it at 60. He moved up to 66 in any event. And
Yeah.
I think they're likely to send Mikhail Pulyaev at 66. We saw Kamal Khan Magomedov yesterday, and either one of those, I think, would have been a better bet. But Galstian, I think, would have given a good run for his money at 66. He just started there a little bit too late.
Yeah.
You
need to give yourself enough time.
Yeah, a couple of years anyway, and he didn't do that. So they've lost to 60. Only Beslan Madranov is left at 60. 66, as I say, I think it will be Mikhail Pulyaev. 73, well, they can choose, but I don't know whether they're going to go with Denis Yartsev. I don't think Magushkov will get the pick. He was here this morning. Is he still in? I'm not sure. I have to look down the list and see.
I haven't been
what he's
watching
up
the men's
to.
one, so
81, Hassan Khan was there. I think 90, maybe Denisov. 100. Takir Haibulaev is still around, but whether he will get the pick, I don't know. And then we've missed out Mansour Isaev, who is completely out of the picture. And then at plus 100, well,
do we have any?
I think Saidov, Renat
Oh,
Saidov,
yeah.
the big man. So speaking of big men, there was a big man. It was Islam El Shahabi in the middle of his shot there with the red T-shirt, and I think he was sitting next to Kejau Nabali of the Ukraine. Different weight class completely. And as far as the women are concerned, well, it's a slightly different picture for the women. They don't have anywhere near the kind of depth
No,
in the
not in
women's
the Russian
program.
team as
And
well.
I think it was Sanbani Taov, one of the Russian coaches. And I think it's going to be Dolgova at 48, Kuzyutin are at 52, 57. I think they're going to blow out, and they maybe won't get an athlete qualified there. If it is, it may be from the continental quota, Irina Zabludina. And at 63, we saw Ekaterina Valkova earlier today. 70, they're not going to qualify anyone at 70. Irina Gajieva is going to miss out.
No, yeah.
Under 78, I think they're going to miss out there. Anastasia Dmitrieva was the closest, and she's not going to make it either. This is last chance saloon for her tomorrow. And then at plus 78, well, it will be Xenia Chibisova, but I don't hold out much hope, with the greatest of respect to her.
Yeah.
The category is too tough for her to.
Especially with the Cuban in there.
Yeah. Cuba, China, and Japan, they run the show in that weight category.
Most definitely.
No,
Always have.
No other, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Moira's on the ball there. No other country has ever taken a gold medal in the plus 78 kilo category for women,
Yeah.
apart from China, Cuba, and the Japanese.
On the face.
Neil Adams was talking about the shortcomings of Zirazuddin Magomedov, and that's just an illustration there. He looks so good. I mean, we've got 38 seconds left to go. He looks so good for the whole contest. It was fine, in the balance. Okay, he had the two Shidos, but a single score would have done it for them, and just that one slip.
The Belgians have actually been fighting very well, though.
Yeah, and we're going to see Toma Nikiforov tomorrow. Deshvan Tichelt was on earlier on. Yeah, they've got a few good boys.
Even though I don't know what category it was. I think it was against the French. Was it 81 or 90s? And was it Baku? And the Belgium came and got the bronze in the end, even though he was injured.
Right, now I'm going to let Moira really join the team, because we're going to go to mat number 2. We spoke about Ekaterina Valkova, and she's on mat number 2. So all you need to do is to press that green button, and that will take us. You may need to press it a little bit longer. I think that's it. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not as long. Right. Okay. You're not on the team then. Right.
No.
Okay. Right. We want to go to mat number 2, if we can. And our little tablet is not working, and nor is our chief, because he's got a headpiece off his ear. Just doesn't want to know. Look. Anyway, Valkova leads by Yuko down on mat number 2. That's in the repechage against Sendayush Serenadmid.
So is she qualified already?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
Valkova will go, and now this will really help to push her up.
Okay.
Although, as far as the possibility of being seeded is concerned, she'd have to medal here and take 280 points to bring her anywhere near the kind of result that would give her a seeding position. And I'd have to look at that. We did speak to Elisabetta Frattini this morning. You must know Ellie, the Italian who does the ranking and everything. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Ellie. Yeah, she's very lovely.
She was looking out for you this morning as well. Actually, it was Ellie and Lisa Allen who said, "Go on, Sheldon, go on, look for her."
Yeah, both of those ladies are very lovely. They were actually very helpful in trying to get here on time and everything.
Right, Ivan Felipe Silva Morales of Cuba is on the mat now against Travis Stevens in the quarterfinal of the under 81 kilo category. There's no score yet, we just had the first minute. Stevens is the one in blue, Silva Morales is in white, and it's Stevens with the customary strapping on various parts of his body.
Yeah.
It's used rather like Kim Jae-boom to hold him together.
When you get to a certain age in judo,
I'll tell him you said that.
I think we all need it.
Be nice now. You're okay, you're young, you can say that.
Yeah, don't need as much strapping just yet.
But you're not carrying any injuries or anything?
No.
You're okay.
Yeah. This Cuban's the young Cuban.
Yeah, and he's dangerous.
Yeah.
He's dangerous. He knocked over a few people a couple of weeks ago, didn't
Yeah,
he?
I saw. Yeah, very well done.
He's just hitting the high spots at the right time. You know, this is just coming at the right time for him. One of the most experienced fighters in the weight category on the other end of his arms there. And an excellent tactician and technician in there was. So he wasn't too technical there, was he? Just didn't like the gripping situation there and decided, hey, I'm going to break this up, and picked up a second Judo. Silva Morales will be well aware of Stevens' reputation on the ground.
Yeah.
And he won't.
Trying to stay away from it, probably.
Yeah, and when he does get involved, I bet it will be in any one of the corners, or at very least, close to the mat edge, so he can wriggle out.
Yeah.
Silva Morales just shaping to go over on the left. Stevens still looking over on that right side. He hasn't generated anything yet, but he's giving the right leg of Silva Morales the good looking over.
Yeah.
Maybe he can get
He's
across
waiting
there.
for it, I think.
Yeah. Almost.
The Russians scored on the other side as well.
Yeah, she's got Yuko. The problem for Valkova on mat 2 is that she's picked up 3 penalties and can't afford another one.
27 seconds as well, so. Not working yet.
Our little gadget is not working. So we can't swap mats at the moment. And I'm just waiting for my chief to put his headphones on so he can hear what we're talking about. But it's as though he knows that we want his attention. And now we've got it, yeah. Unfortunately, our little tablet that moves us from one mat to the next is not functioning at present. We've been giving it a good working over, but it hasn't gone yet. So we're going to hand it back to the chief and see what happens. Well, Valkova couldn't avoid a 4th penalty.
Yeah, so it goes to Mongolia.
Yep, so the Mongolian won that contest there.
Has the Mongolian qualified?
Oh no, that wasn't it. Yes, she has. Right, it would appear to be functioning properly now. Just going to give it a little test, and over we go to mat number 2, because this is the semi-final between Catherine Unterwertsacher of Austria. She faces Jules Fransen of the Netherlands. It's Unterwertsacher in the white judogi, Fransen in blue. If you want to finish off watching that last minute of Silva Morales and Stevens. And
he got it.
Stevens in the Newaza.
Yeah.
With 3 penalties against him. Yeah, well, it happens, doesn't it? Just when you think you're going to move to show a semi-final instead of a quarter-final. Stevens punches the air in celebration. I'm sorry I didn't bring you that. I really am. But, you know.
It happens. Like I said, judo just takes one moment. Good win, though.
Yeah. That puts him in the semi-final.
So both Dutch under 63s are here.
Yes, Anneke van Emden and Jules Fransen. And
They're both still trying to qualify?
well,
Or
I'm
to
not.
decide?
I think the Dutch have made the decision, but have not made the announcement
Ah,
because
okay.
I kind of see from her demeanour in the under 78 kilo category, Husha Steenhuis, who is in a real battle with Martin de Verkerk.
Yes.
We go back to 2009. Martin de Verkerk won in Rotterdam in
Oh, wow.
2009. So I don't know why there's that thread of 2009 at the moment. We spoke about Yuri Alver, we spoke about Ivan Nifontov, and now we're talking about Martin de Verkerk
Verkerk.
in her battle with Husha Steenhuis. And Steenhuis is up there at number 2 in the world, I think, and is unlikely to get the pick. The Dutch have,
Oh.
I think they've decided to take Martin de Verkerk instead. And I think they like the look
Ooh.
of slip there from Unterwerzaka. Is she going to escape? She does. And I think they like the look of Anneke van Emden instead of Jules Fransen. Mind you, if Fransen wins here, yes, it's not out of all the. It's not beyond the realms of all possibility because Unterwerzaka can, at times get caught.
Yeah.
Fransen has got nice throwing skills, good body posture. Was off and out of judo for a while, but immediately upon her return, she looked as though she hadn't missed a step. In fact, if anything, she was just that little bit more difficult.
Yeah. Sometimes a little break can help.
Missed out with that Yoko Tomoinagi there. I had a dig at this referee yesterday about a call that he made, and on reflection, he'd made absolutely the right call. It was Marty Malloy, United States of America, getting countered by Helene Rossavo, and I said, no way. How can
Yeah.
that be? But it was.
Because Helene ended up getting the silver.
Yeah.
So now she's beaten
Pavia.
Pavia.
But I
So
think
it'd be interesting to
I think
see
the French
have made the decision as well. Yeah.
I think they've got it in mind. And unlike some other countries, I don't think they've made the decision, but I think they've got it in mind.
Yeah.
See, if you look at this matchup, Unterwerzaka versus Jules Fransen, her teammate Anneke van Emden is going to be up next. She's going to face Toshiro Miku, the number 1 seed from Japan. So, Van Emden has got a bit of a
Tougher draw.
a tough task, hasn't
Yeah.
she? Van Emden was one of the top 8 seeds. And Fransen wasn't seeded at all. And yet it's worked out for her.
Yeah, Fransen's come through.
Fransen got a bit of a break because her first round opponent, well, it would have been a second round fight because they didn't have a fight in the first round, was Sedefsudan Munksao of Mongolia, who was ill. So she got a bye direct into the quarterfinal against Ekaterina Valkova, who she defeated, the Russian.
Yeah.
That put her against Unterwerzaka. Unterwerzaka has defeated Silva, Mariana Silva of Brazil, and then Sendayush Serenadmed of Mongolia before coming up against Fransen. And 2 penalties with 19 seconds to go doesn't look good at all.
No.
Where's your money?
I want to say because Austria's done so well so far, you'd hope that should go through, but I think it's going to be the Dutch.
I don't think Fransen's going to give it away now, is she? She puts
No.
in one last effort there, that'll be it. She doesn't need to attack now.
No.
Just needs to stand up tall, give a little nudge to Unterwerzaka, who I think, for once has got written on her face, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, she got another shooter.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Right, well, it wasn't the most attractive of battles, but it was certainly
Good fight.
good for, and good
Yeah.
for Jules Fransen as well. And if you like a battle royale, well, that wasn't it, but it's
No.
worked out well for Jules Fransen. We're going to go down to mat number 1 because on mat number 1, the semi-final, the second of the semi-finals in the under 63 kilo category also features a Dutch fighter. It's Anneke van Emden up against the Japanese Tashiro Miku. Let's go down Miku and let's see what's happening down there. We join the contest with a little under 3 minutes left to go. Both fighters have picked up a Shido apiece. It's Tashiro in the white judogi and Van Emden in blue. So,
Van Emden has been around a little bit longer, hasn't she?
yeah, she has. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose we get the feeling that she's been around for long because she was quite a successful junior. So they put her up into the senior ranks fairly quickly. I wonder if Jules Frenson is going to hang around to watch the other semi-final. She's just coming to the end of the competition hall now,
Yeah.
and we'll stop here and have a quick look. Just standing next to our doctor, Arnold, who happens to be from the Netherlands. And that was previously the Dutch team doctor, so he's not going to move her on, is he? He's not gonna
No,
sit her
exactly.
away. Half the contest gone. A single Shido to each of the fighters. Tashiro Miku was a little bit untidy in a previous contest, picking up a couple of penalties. I think when things get tight, you know you want to make sure that you minimize the number of errors that you give away. It's a little bit like tennis. I talk about unforced errors. And Tashiro Miku could do with a bit of tidying up there. Sagimuki has just thrown Dirk van Tich out of Belgium for Ippon in the repechage contest on mat 2. That's in the under 73 kilo
He's been
category.
doing really well, actually, today.
Yeah, all the Israeli boys are
Yeah,
sparkling at the moment.
especially because the women's Israeli team is so strong now.
Yeah. They're just missing the heavyweights, aren't they, to be honest?
Yeah.
Van Emden has picked up a second penalty. Now, I'm loath to leave another contest in the middle. However, coming on to mat number 2 at the moment, you've got two top fighters in Rustam Orozhov, the number 2 seed. He's up against Hashimoto Soichi of Japan. There's no score in that contest, and I think we're going to go down there and have a look at that. Van Emden has picked up 2 penalties. Tashiro Miku just the one. We'll keep an eye on that, and almost comes up with the Ashiwaza,
Ooh,
but
yeah.
we're going to go down to mat number 2. Let's take a look and see what's happening there. Semi-final in the under 73 kilo category. Well, at least you've still got the scoreboard in the top left-hand corner. You can see whether that changes or not. A really choice contest coming up soon. Yuri Alver of Colombia and Bernadette Graf of Austria.
That'd be a very good fight.
A good one. Orozhov has got his left ankle heavily strapped, and there was a thought this morning from the Azeri coaching staff that they were going to pull him out, but he insisted on fighting, and they told him, you know, the first sign of any problems and we're taking you out. But here he is in the semi-final. He could be inspired by his teammates' performance yesterday in the gold medal winning under 60 kilo performance of Volkan Safarov. Couldn't quite finish off. 2 penalties picked up by Annika Van Emden. Tashiro Miku just the 1. So it's Tashiro who goes through to the final. She'll face Van Emden's teammate, Jules Franson.
Van Emden still got the repechage, though. So.
Well, she can go straight into the
Yeah.
bronze medal contest, can't she?
Yeah.
Having lost in the semi-final, so there's still a chance that she'll be on the podium. That's a nice right-sided effort from Hashimoto. He goes low right-sided, and Orozhov manages to just collapse it and avoid getting caught. Murali Sharipov is not appearing for his repechage contest, and Chang Rim of South Korea getting a walkover. He's glad of that. Could do with a few of those, can't you?
Yeah. Interesting. Wonder why that is.
He could have picked up an injury in a previous contest, and I don't think anyone really wants to risk it now, do they?
No. Quite a few people injured coming into this one.
The second semi-final in the under 73 kilo category is taking place there on map 1. Ganbatar Odbaya of Mongolia faces Denis Iatsev of Russia. We're going to stick with Orozhov and Hashimoto. Orozhov has picked up a single Shido, and there's 2 minutes left to go.
He looks frustrated.
Yeah, he's finding it difficult getting close to Hashimoto, and he wants him close and he wants him standing up. And the minute that Orozhov gets his arms around him, there's all sorts of tape.
Yeah, his fingers just falling off there.
Off, yeah.
It's just taking them all off.
You might as well have these as well.
Yeah. Hashimoto's fighting a good fight, like a sensible.
A clash of heads there.
One in the eye, one in the nose.
Mutual exchange of apologies. And I think Hashimoto was about to give a handshake there. Orozhov was straight onto the grip. Come on, let's get on with it. This is more like what Orozhov wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, almost on the arm. Well, the thing here is Hashimoto is not afraid of mixing it up on the ground.
No, I can see that. Doesn't mind grappling. And
yeah, he was quite happy to wrestle Orozhov back down if he wanted some of it, but they're back up on their feet now, and that little rush of activity from Orozhov, if he can follow it up with a strong attack now, he may draw a Shido from the Japanese, but he's got to be first in.
Yeah, I think he wants the Japanese to stop moving.
He needs to get that grip on one grip off one side. Yeah,
Shido
took too long.
Yeah.
And now it's no longer a question of Shidos. It's a question of he must score.
Yeah.
Because one Shido.
40 seconds.
Yeah, Hashimoto may give up one Shido, which he just does there, and he grimaces as he realises that was rather silly.
Go a little bit too early on. You want to wait
exactly.
a little bit
Hang
further.
on for a bit. Yeah. Here comes Orozhov again. You see, he could go here again.
Yeah.
He just wanted to avoid getting wrapped up there. He does avoid getting the second penalty. Orozhov has got a turn here. He can't afford to have his back to the mat there. Hasn't got anything left.
No, he wants to get him into the corner.
I'm not surprised with so little time left. Can't expect to be, full of energy right at the end. Here comes Orozhov. One last go here.
Japanese can't give a shooter still though. Ooh, that was close. I think even the Japanese knows that was
he
close.
does. A last-ditch Sutemiwaza effort. Just missed out on coming up with a score. That was a good little battle, wasn't it?
That was a great fight, considering how bad the ankle is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were going to pull him out altogether, and then they said, "Okay, we'll see how it goes." He just had one whack earlier on, and then he managed to hang in there. Right. I'm going to thank Moira de Villiers for coming in to see us. It was nice to chat with you. And when Oceania finally get round to streaming their live events, you should look for a job.
Maybe. Thanks, Shannon.
We're going to invite Neil Adams in. You take care and have a safe trip.
Thank you so
home.
much.
And I hope the wedding goes well. You should post some pictures so
will.
that we can see them. Moira de Villiers,
you.
thanks very much for joining us. Right, Sally Conway of Great Britain faces Maria Perez of Puerto Rico. We're going to get Neil Adams to come and sit in now. repechage contest in the under 70 kilo category. That's what's taking place now. Yeah, Sharipov was injured. That's what we were talking about. And that's why he failed to turn up for his previous contest. Judo apiece, Conway and Perez. Perez trying to go over on the left side, but Conway's up to defending that. Ganbata Odbaya of Mongolia has just thrown Denis Yartsev of Russia on mat number 1 in their semi-final. So it could be Ganbata in the final. Repechage contest beginning on mat number 1 now. Maria Portela of Brazil will face Sendayush Naranjagul of Mongolia. She had a bit of a head injury a week or so ago. She was concussed in one of her contests. Rather unattractive. Well, I don't suppose any injury is attractive, but it was disturbing. Really unsettling to see Sendayush attempting to get to her feet and just collapsing. She just was completely gone. She seems to be fully recovered. Battling away down on mat number 1 if you want to see that. That's the repechage contest on mat number 1. The second of the repechage contests, well, on the other side at least, is taking place here. Conway and Perez. Perez having picked up a second Shido now. It's just at a slight disadvantage. Well, that was the option for Conway. The Sumigeishi, and Perez didn't sense the danger quick enough. And she went over for Wazari. So it's Conway who leads with a little under 2 minutes left to go. Perez is dangerous enough to cause Conway some problems. So it's not done and dusted by any means. Wazari the lead for Conway with a little over a minute left to go, and just putting the pressure on now as Maria Perez has to defend in Nevas. 2 penalties picked up by the Puerto Rican as well. And Osai Komi as well, a tired looking Maria Perez has just tapped out there, and it'll be Conway who goes in to the bronze medal contest. 7th place finish for Perez. That's what she'll have to settle for there. Right, we've got the second of the semi-finals in the under 70 kilo category. Yuri Alvear of Colombia faces Bernadette Graf of Austria. I say the second because the first one is scheduled to be on mat 1. That's Kim Polling and Kim Seong-yeon of South Korea. We may get to see that. Anyway, Alvear in the white judogi, Graf in blue. What a good-looking matchup this is. Tane Otoshi, and she was a little bit untidy in the attack there, slightly off balance, and Graf nearly took her back, but no harm done. In went the attack, right-sided from Alvear. Chance for the Uranagi. No, it's gone the other way. Big Haragoshi from Graf. And she comes up with Wazari. Alvear hanging on to block any Osaiwaza from Graf. And now the question will be whether Graf can do one of two things. Fight off the throwing skills of Yuri Alvear and avoid getting caught, or come up with a second score that will end the contest. Almost coming up with a combination there, the second part of which would have been that Ashiwaza. .220 left to go. It's Yuri Alvear having to defend on the ground. Half the contest still to come, so there's time. Graf not able to free her right leg when it was trapped by Alvear, and as a result of that the referee called mate. Minute 40 odd left to go. Well, it wasn't the strongest of attacks. But it was adjudged to have been a failed attack as opposed to a false one, and now we're going to have a look at that to see whether there's any score at all. And they decided there was no score there. So we're inside the last minute, and it's Alvear staring down the barrel of a gun here. Graf leading with Wazari, and if truth be told, she's dominated the contest. Alvear has just had one look, just that one look at that counter.
No score given?
And no score given. I didn't think that either fighter was in control of the technique. I'm not sure whether they're still having a look.
Well, he's just waved off a Wazari there, and I don't know what for, really.
Exactly, because they'd already waved it away.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done, it's done. He probably got it in his ear. There was no Wazari, but they're not looking at the same thing. He'd already waved it away when they told him the first time. They took it off the scoreboard, and then he had to wave away a Wazari that wasn't there. So it looked a little odd. Anyway, the last 15 seconds are going to tick away at that little bit too quickly for Alve. Graf picks up a single Shido, but she hasn't got to worry about that too much now.
Well, Graf has come back onto really good form after injury, hasn't she? She's just having a real good run of it. I know somebody who's going to be really pleased about that.
She's incredibly strong, Bernadette Graf. I mean, physically strong. She's got that kind of, I don't know, she doesn't look like a toughie.
Well,
it's
kind of a raw strength. I remember my grandfather had the same. My dad had the same. It's a raw strength that you have. I mean, it's not necessarily through weights, although I'm sure she's on a weights program. But anyway, done enough here.
Yeah, and the normally emotionless Yuri Alver is in tears for the first time. I hope it's not in pain because she's limping off. And Bernadette Graf isn't moving too smoothly either, but that was a bit of a battle there. And there's another battle, the other semi-final in the under 70 kilo category between Kim Polling and Kim Seong-yeon is taking place on mat number 1. So we're going to go down there to have a look at that. It's Polling in the white judogi, Kim, if you know what I'm talking about, in blue.
Well, it's all over, isn't it? Just straight into the old side komi, Wazari up, and it's going to be all over. She's through to the final. Made that look easy as well, didn't she?
Kim Seong-yeon tapping out there, and it's not the first time we've seen that happy smiling face from Kim Polling. She's almost embarrassed at times at what she achieves. She has a little look around and says, "Did I really do that? Was that me?" Well, yes, that was you.
I just think that she has very, very special days, Kim Polling, and sometimes she looks absolutely unbeatable in the weight category, and I really hope that she has that same tournament at the Olympic Games. I hope it goes for her because she still wants and still needs that big one, doesn't she? That big event, World Championships or Olympic Games.
It's the power game that she has at times, like that. I mean, she just grabbed hold of her, bang, over she went. She makes things happen from positions that other fighters fail in. Here it looks simple. She makes it look simple because she's so strong, and yet other fighters get into that position and then they're not able to bring it off. We've got 2 repechage contests taking place at the moment. Silva Morales and Abdellal on one mat. Magomedov was due to come out to face Kubetsov, but it didn't take place. And the IGF have dealt with that in the past, so I'm going to pass on comment. I think Neil is as well.
I'm not even going to comment about it. I'm not even going to go there. Interesting that we've got Silva Morales here, who's in the under 81 kilograms. He is on mat 2. Against Abdallah, and he is, for me, probably one of the outside chances to come through. For his progression has been absolutely incredible,
and he shows no sign of having a limit. That's what I like about some fighters. You think not going to get any better. That's it. You're not going to get better than that. Well, that's not the case with Ivan Felipe Silva Morales of Cuba. He trails by a Shido, if we can say trails. The advantage at the moment is with Abdellal, with a little over 2.5 minutes left to go. But the semi-final now between Joachim Boitio of Belgium, he's up against Nyamsurin Dagvasurin of Mongolia. It's Boitio in the white judogi, Nyamsurin in blue. There's no score as yet. We've had half a minute, and here's Neil Adams.
Well, Boitio really great with the tactics, Boitio. He's a great tactician, and he's been very, very consistent in this under 81 kilos category. Yet again, fighting a major position here in the, to get to the final of a World Masters will be an all-out best. Nyamsurin, also on good form.
You mentioned yesterday about, the teams that would be really happy, and you said about Mongolia, and they haven't stopped, have they? Men and women.
It's just men and women, and the consistency that they have all the way through the weight categories, every one of them performing well. So you've got to have a look at their system, the fact that they've got everybody grouped, that they come together. But I think that suits their mentality as well. They're fighters, they're a fighting country.
Martin Arends was telling me that the Dutch are finally thinking of moving towards that kind of system because they've been so divisive and so much infighting and so polarized in their various little centres, and he's saying that finally he's convincing them to come together in one place. I think it's Papendal or somewhere that he's convinced them to go to. We'll see how that works out for them.
I think they might have bigger problems in the Netherlands, because of their
it's fractured, isn't it?
Well, yes, I mean, it's always been fractured, and I think it's a bit like the British mentality. The Dutch mentality is very individual. But I think certainly for the Mongolian, it works very, very well.
Yeah, they just all pile into Ulaanbaatar.
Well, that's exactly how it works as well.
Yeah,
The cadets, juniors, and seniors all working together.
Live there. I've been to present one of those big plasma screens to them and put it in one of their apartments. Had the Mongolian milk and the bread and everything. It was rather good fun.
Well, this is a battle royal. This is just over halfway in this contest, and Bottio taking the fight to Niam Suren. Trying for the Sumigaeshi. No penalty on the board, so both of them have been attacking at the right time.
I love the crowd. There's a Mongolian and a Belgian, a Cuban and an Egyptian, and yet there's action in the crowd. I suspect that it's a lot of cheering for Silva Morales.
Well, it's a great atmosphere in this stadium. People here in Guadalajara have been absolutely fantastic. They really have. Hospitality amazing. Look how Bottio has to try to take that hand off there. He's trying to dominate the sleeves, Bottio. This will be an incredible feat for him to get to the final of a world mass, especially under 81 kilograms, so competitive. Saying that, there's quite a few, aren't there? Under 81's not here. I would say that we haven't got probably the best three in the world here.
Chirikishvili.
Yep, Shrikishvili.
I'd like to have seen, Nagase, the Japanese. I'd like to have seen Hassan Karl Musayev as well, the Russian.
Three Russians in this event here, so what they were thinking, the Russians, actually what they're sorting out would be of interest to me. Oh, and that was a wild one there from Niam Suren. Was he counted backwards? I thought that Bottio took him backwards there. Be interesting to see how he landed.
Exactly, and he's going to land on top of him, and therefore he won't be able to get a score.
Well, I think he's going to get a score for that, is he?
He put him on his body, on his own body, and for that reason they won't give a score.
So Tanio Tosh or Ko Soto. Niam Suren a bit wild there with that, absolutely. Did he tip him onto the points of his shoulders? No, you're absolutely right, Sheldon. No score given.
See, he takes him back. Absolutely no doubt that he takes him back. He can't get his body out of the way. He just pulls him on top of him there. 2 penalties picked up by Niam Suren.
Well, he's the one that's got to come forwards.
Yeah.
Niam Seren under pressure here.
Only problem with that is the last time he did, Bottio nearly threw him, didn't he?
He didn't.
He's kind of tentative now. Can't afford to be. That's done now.
Wow, close one there as well. 4 seconds to go. The Mongolian team absolutely going crazy up in the stands there. It's all over. Bottio's through to the final. What an amazing result for him. Another major final.
Now, normally we'd hang around for the niceties, but the second semi-final, in other words, we're going to know who Bottio will face in that final of the under 81 kilo category. The second semi-final is taking place on the adjoining mat. It's Travis Stevens of the United States of America. He faces Roman Mostopoulos of Greece. There is no score yet. We're going to join the contest with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. It's Stevens in the white judogi, Mostopoulos in blue, and here's Neil Adams.
Well, Travis Stevens coming back to a bit of form, and I'm really pleased for him. You know, it's great to see it. He's such a hard worker, Travis Stevens.
Or just hard.
And he's a hard man. He really is. And he has good tachiwaza, great newaza. And just good to see him in a major semi-final here. Just ahead, coming into the 3 minute, or coming up to the 3 minute mark. There's a Sienagi. Oh, brilliant stuff there. Travis Stevens gets a Wazari. Nothing drop about that Sienagi. Great judo from Travis Stevens.
Mostopoulos has indicated on 2 or 3 occasions that Stevens had a hand inside the sleeve.
Well, there's strong gripping, isn't there? Obviously, at this level here, it's all about the kumakata, getting the dominant grip. They haven't been penalising the pistol grip or the edge of the, and it's right on the end of the sleeve there. They haven't been penalising it, so don't start now. I'm a big believer, and I said it yesterday, that any grip, as long as it's not inside the jacket, should be allowed. And I think then, as long as they attack to throw for Ippon. And he's got to be careful there, Travis Stevens.
I find it slightly laughable, however, that Mostopoulos should be belly aching about the grip. And when Stevens got up the last time, you could see his sleeve was still, crunched up from where Mostopoulos had the grip.
Well, I think as long as it's not one rule for one and another rule for another. Look at Mostopoulos, look. He's doing exactly the same
and
there.
Pulling down now, yeah.
He's got the same grip.
Right at the end. Now, Stevens has got to keep his man down here. He wants to eat up as much of the clock as he possibly can. And Mostopoulos is exactly where he doesn't want to be.
Well, he was almost. He didn't quite have the contact there, did he, with the legs? There was too much of a gap. Travis Stevens of the USA. Wazari ahead here. Beautiful Sienagi.
That was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's traditional Sienagi.
Standing up, yeah. Planted him.
Mostopoulos, he's the one that's got to get the inside grip. He keeps going over the top with that arm. Stevens doing well to keep him at bay. 1 minute 35.
He's got him again.
Oh, it's all over. Wazari Wazetti Ippon. Travis Stevens through to a major final. It's the first time for a little while. And what a time to do it at the World Masters.
Just when there's enough money around.
I'm really pleased for him, I have to say, because he is such a hard worker, and I like to see hard work.
I had a really wonderful conversation this morning with him in the warm-up area, and I said, do you remember how long ago it was? It's 4 years since we had that conversation in the tunnel in London, and I said, you're the best fighter to leave here without a medal. And he said, I do remember that. I said, you didn't talk to me for 2 years after that. He didn't think it was very clever at the time. Mostopoulos slow to leave the competition area, understandably so.
Well, yeah, 2 brilliant techniques, and Travis Stevens through to that final.
Now we're going to take a break for, it's 2:15 here. We'll be back at 5 o'clock. There's no opening ceremony, so a few minutes before 5 we'll be back. Highlights for you, apart from Stevens, because that'd be too easy, Neil.
Yeah, well, Kim Polling on fire.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really a fantastic one there. I think when she looks like this, virtually unbeatable. Saying that, any final, the people have got a chance. Yeah, but
Ganbatar.
Yeah, Gambatar
Looking good there.
Looking good in the under 73s. I think though that the number 3 or 4 Japanese Hashimoto coming through there.
Just shading out Orozhov.
Yeah.
And Orozhov is carrying an ankle injury. We spoke to Peter Seisenbacher this morning. They were going to pull him out this morning. They were going to pull him out, and Orozhov said, "No, I'd like to give it a go." And Seisenbacher said, "Okay, it's one fight at a time. And after every fight, we're going to have a look at you, and we're going to decide whether you go on or not. But the minute you look as though you're suffering, we're pulling you out, and we're going to see him in a medal match, I think. Yeah, because he lost in the semi.
So he'll have to do.
No, he lost in the semi-final to Hashimoto. He lost out to. So he'll be down in the bronze medal match. Mostopoulos will see again. Stevens. Looking forward to seeing him. I said we weren't going to mention him, but there is Toshiro Miko. She didn't look as tidy as the Japanese normally, but once in a while you'll see the penalties against some of the Japanese, and they're just off the pace a little bit.
They look a little bit off the
timing,
pace,
yeah.
and I said before that you're not quite sure what kind of preparation they're doing coming into this, and they might just be on a period of training that is just makes them a little bit tired, just not quite coordinated, but they're winning.
And then we're going to see Jules Fransen of the Netherlands against Toshiro Miku in the final of the under 63 kilo category. Anneke van Emden lost out in her contest. So two medal possibilities, but the big one for Jules Fransen, I mean, she's still trying to run Van Emden for a place. But as far as I understand, the Dutch have kind of made their minds up already.
Right.
So it may not be all that after all. Polling, Neil already mentioned. Conway sorted out. Oh no, it was Graf, wasn't it, that sorted out Alver, and we'll see Bernadette Graf and Kim Polling, two of my favourites in the under 70 kilo category. Right, we'll be back at 5 o'clock, but from Neil and myself, it's bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.